Good evening and good morning from wherever you are. Welcome to Friday nights. The world's gone insane. Let's talk about it. Doesn't matter that we're a little bit late. No, was I destroying my toilet? Absolutely. We are both, of course, Haram the Baker. And the news this week, I've got nothing on gaming, uh, except for I think Spider-Man 2 trailer dropped. Might talk about that later. And a couple of things on politics. Couple of things on film and TV. San Diego Comic Con has been taking up most of my time, and no, I've not been sitting here looking at what films are out. That's what other people do, but I'm old school when it comes to Comic Con. That's right. I look at the toys. It's like a glorified toy fair for me, and I love it. That being said, Zam, do you have anything that you want to add to the docket? All right,
Yes, first of all, rest in peace, Tony Bennett,
yeah,
who died today, 96. Probably, I'm not sure. Tom Cruise is not Tom Cruise. God,
Frank Sinatra.
uh, no, Welsh guy,
Yeah, Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. He's still with us, yeah.
Yeah, he's 80 something. He's still with us.
Okay, so we're going like Tony Bennett is one of the last of the original crooners. With
Well,
Fly Me to
Tom
the Moon.
Jones, I wouldn't call Tom Jones a crooner. His voice
No,
was,
he was part of that era.
it was part of that era, but he's more like just a pop god. Like his voice just
Hmm.
shit all over the crooners. As lovely as the crooners' voices were, he just wasn't a crooner. He ascended croonerism. Um, but I understand if people want to put him in that bracket and say like he's. I think he is the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, he could easily like take any of their songs and just work with it, if you know what I
Oh
mean.
yeah.
With Frank Sinatra gone and Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, and various others, Andy Williams I think is gone. And now Tony Bennett, who died 96. And I was just watching some stuff, and there's a really good video with he suffered from Alzheimer's,
Oh.
and people
Oh,
were
that's
interviewing
right.
him,
Yeah.
and the interviews were a little bit awkward because he wasn't aware of certain things.
Hey,
But there
Nerdiverse.
was a really good clip of him at 95, I think he was. He was at stage in New York with Lady Gaga, and the moment the curtains raised, he became Tony Bennett again. Like he just instantly fell back into the performer and everything. Obviously, his voice is not what it once was, being in his fucking 90s. But it
Yeah.
was absolutely amazing just seeing this like transformation of this man who looked clueless and bewildered, and you didn't even know if the show was going to work, regardless of Lady Gaga being there or whatever. But it just instantly, like, the transformation in him was fantastic. And yeah, he's look, I'm no fan. When I say no fan, I don't mean I don't like his stuff, but it just making me realize that all of these legends of yesteryear, they're going. You know what I mean? All in their 90s now. They're all going. All these people I admired when I was a kid, listened to their stuff. Irreplaceable people, and yeah, we've lost another one in Tony Bennett. So rest in peace. Fantastic artist, great
Oh,
music.
I want to say something on that as well because when we're talking about singers, there's not many like singers around today that just blow your damn mind away the way that these guys did. I posted, I think it
Hmm.
was in the Nerdtube group on Facebook, the group chats, the private messages and all of that. A clip of Tom Jones singing with Janis Joplin and their voices in that. Like I love Tom Jones.
Yeah,
Like, Tom Jones is the
yeah, I
goat
love
for me.
Tom Jones too.
He is for me the greatest of all time. His voice just phenomenal. Like he's one of him, Barry White, all that kind of lot. Just
Yeah,
among my all-time favorites. We don't get this anymore. Like the majority of people that sing now, I'm not saying they have like terrible voices, the ones that can sing, but their voices just they don't stand out. Like, there's like that period where you had Chris Rock, Usher, Neo, Jason Derulo, all of that. All of them have nice voices, but they're nothing special. Like, they're not a legacy voice that you'll remember them for their voice, because you can literally take any one of those guys and swap them out and you wouldn't know the difference. In pop music, what male singer has a voice that just blows your mind away? Like, none of
Today,
them. Huh?
let me give you an example of
Yeah.
something that I do on a regular basis. Yeah, as a cab driver, I drive past Abbey Road nearly all the time. The Abbey Road, the one you see on the Beatles cover of their album. Yeah,
Hey, Crazy Cat. Yeah.
to this day, there are people who weren't even around when the Beatles were around. After even 20, 30 years or so, they're not even around. But to this day, these people are still crossing Abbey Road and mimicking that album cover, to the detriment to people like myself who are pissed off, who have to fucking snail pace
Stuck
that Abbey
behind the
Road
fucking
and
zebra
and
crossing.
that zebra crossing, because you don't know who's genuinely wanting to cross the road and who wants to fucking have their picture taken so that they all doing that fucking cross, you know what I mean, and shit like that. You get 3 or 4 of them all trying to mimic that, and it's amazing. To this day, people are still doing that. But you think Justin Bieber's going to leave a legacy like that? You know what I mean? Nobody. Like, the last person, in my opinion, male wise, I can't say female wise, but
I mean,
male
females,
wise,
look, I want to be clear. In terms of women, there are so many amazing female singers
I,
out
th-
there
I think
whose
I think
voices,
Madonna. I think
uh,
Madonna's still one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
she's not a good singer, though, but she's a fantastic
I,
performer and her music's great.
I disagree with her personally, but I don't want to get into the tit for tat for that.
Okay,
I
that's
think that
fine.
what she's done since the '80s and the reinvention of herself, and I remember like people doing cosplay as her in various ways and stuff like that, in fancy dress and all of that. The
Yeah,
Material
yeah,
Girl look and all of that.
yeah. She's an icon. There's no denying that.
But the last person male wise I can think of is possibly Michael Jackson. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe Prince.
Yeah,
After
I
that,
mean, it's
yeah.
definitely the 80s, because the 90s, I can't think of any male that kind of stood out. I mean, okay, I mean, you can argue with rock and roll. There's loads of amazing voices that are still around, like the lead singer of Metallica, uh,
Aerosmith and all that. Yeah.
Aerosmith. There's loads of fantastic voices, but eh, that's the band. It's the band. You don't think of just the singer.
Yeah, the Stones and all of that. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, just your Tom Jones, like your crooner types, your all of that. The only person that comes close in terms of the crooners is fucking Seth MacFarlane, who the Family Guy creator. His voice is amazing, and that's his kind of music. He loves, like,
I love
that kind of music, and he
I love
is
that music too.
phenomenal. you know. Yeah, I mean, me too. Like, and when I hear Seth MacFarlane sing, I'm just blown away. I absolutely love it. I think that's the best thing about him. It is what, yeah, David Hasselhoff for the win, and that. But yeah, I can't. I would say, I can't say Ed Sheeran because he's so fucking corny. Like, he's got a lovely voice, but I just don't like his fucking music.
But there's nobody around at the moment. Everyone seems to be like throwaway. They come
Yeah,
and they
generic,
go.
swappable,
Yeah,
replaceable. You don't get all these, like, if you go
as
back and
somebody
go on.
as somebody, I love all types of music. I genuinely do.
Yeah, me
So
too. Yeah.
whether it be crooning stuff or even right down to hip hop, like I've always complained that today's hip hop is absolutely fucking awful. All
Awful.
that mumble. I'm a man who loves all the stuff from the '90s, the '80s, obviously, which was his own particular time, but basically '90s and early 2000s. That's the golden generation for me. I know I don't want to come across as a boomer or somebody who doesn't really appreciate new things, but I do appreciate new music. But at the same time, rap music has devolved. It hasn't evolved. It's gone so backwards with the same beats, and the irrelevant lyrics that don't mean shit. You know,
And what annoys me with it
yeah,
though is that it's held. it's still held as like the coolest genre. Like to listen to it, you know, you're part of the crew. You're one of the lads. You're cool. You know, it's that
Yeah,
kind of like this is hip. And I'm like, it, you're not cool. You are cringe. All you say to me is that you don't know real music, and I don't fucking respect your opinion on music because you're listening to this shit. And even that fucking idiot, Childish Gambino. What's the name of the actor? He plays.
Daniel Glover, is it something
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
it. Daniel
Glover.
Glover. Yeah, him.
Yeah,
Okay, I never. This absolutely destroyed any love I had for the guy when he got on stage doing a stand-up comedy, and he shit on 80s and early 90s hip hop.
really.
Yeah, he
Oh
shit on
my
it.
god.
'Cause the old stuff was garbage. He's just talking about their day, and I'm like, go listen to his song "This Is America." Apart from that bit where he says "This is America," the rest of the song, you don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Yeah,
He says
yeah,
nothing. He mumbles
yeah.
and does
It's
nothing.
all nuance. It's all
He's
nuance. You don't. Yeah,
awful. Like he's
yeah.
absolutely up his own ass, awful, and he disrespected old school hip hop. I will not stand for it. People like Biz Markie, you know, which was like his main kind of targeted people and all this kind of shit. Like I love old school hip hop because old school hip hop it wasn't just talking about the trials and
It's ghetto
tribulations
poetry.
of it was ghetto poetry. It was
Yeah, ghetto poetry.
yeah,
Just
it was amazing.
yeah.
But it's not that. It's the fact that number one, they rhymed brilliantly. Number two, they stuck to the tempo of the beat. Nowadays, they don't even do that. Like you look at Drake and all that. He can't even keep to the tempo of his music. He is the epitome of everything I hate about hip hop today because he's not musically inclined at all. He's just a guy with an auto tune and a beat that he can't even keep to. But old school rap had a wonderful flow, and that's what made it great. And the fact that it hasn't gotten better, it is just a tragedy. Whereas, you know, I could point to like indie rock music, and all that, and I can find you pockets of greatness everywhere. With hip hop, can't find it. It's too few and far between. Go away, cat, go away.
The Rat Pack era was great. I mean, that's why people keep replicating their stuff. And Daniel Vance also says, "Oh, welcome, Daniel Vance. That is most 80s and 90s rap was poetry to music, not singing. Then came auto tune. Yeah,
Oh, then
like the ingenious of the rapping, you know, like that makes things lyrically work and have that message as well. On top of that, like one of my favorite albums, by the way, is by a guy called Sticky Fingers, who used to be
I
part
love
of a
Sticky
rap
Fingers.
group called who used to be part of a rap group called Onyx, and he also
Yeah,
played Blade in the season, by the way,
yeah,
of the series Blade, and he done an album called the Autobiography of Kirk Jones. That's his real name, and
yeah.
it's such a genius album. Like the fact that he's doing a whole story of his life, and he's got collaborations in there as well, and
Onyx were
it's
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing group. So I'm not fucking surprised. I haven't heard the album, so I'm
It's
gonna
very, it's
go.
one of my favorites. It's just such a genius album, and you know, but you know, but people like him, even like one of my favorites. It's such a simple one, and all they were talking, but that's when I used to be a stoner. Was Cypress Hill. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
just Cypress. You know, I love the album.
7
I want to
albums on
get
just getting high.
high, so high, insane in the membrane. You know,
But
like oh my god, like just ingenious lyrics and those what I'm talking, what the bits I'm thinking now, people might think you're being a hypocrite. You're just singing repetitive words, but no, those are the choruses. Those bits always are
yeah,
repetitive.
the
Yeah, but
rest
when
of
the
it,
the in
the
betweens,
context,
were
yeah,
just oh god, it's just genius,
yeah.
absolute fucking genius.
I just want to go to
Yeah,
this comment here, where it says old rappers were
yeah.
wordsmith, mad respect. Yeah, absolutely. They were the only. There's only two rappers now that I could call, possibly three that I could call like phenomenal wordsmiths, and those would be there's a guy called Afro who burst onto the scene when he was only 17 and just blew me away with his flow. And and the reason he's so good is because his mum, like he grew up in a non-religious household, so his mum used to punish him by making him read the dictionary anytime he was naughty in school. So she just made him read the dictionary. So obviously he built up a lexicon, and because he loved hip hop, He just blows me away. And I think Joe Cole is really good as well, not the footballer. And there's he's a Jewish, white Jewish guy. I think he's Canadian Jewish guy, rapper called Abdominal, who is for me the best rapper of all time. Like I mean, first of all, his song "Fast Food" is just the best rap song ever made. It's just him talking about his love for chicken wings, and it's so relatable. So yeah, but they're the only three that I can think of that stand out today that are just a cut above the rest. The rest are just talking about well, first of all, they make up words just to get some rhyming. Like Ferrari just went to Rari so they could rhyme it with the other fucking crap. And all they're doing is just basically promoting Italian fashion labels and bolstering the economy of Italy. Ferraris, Gucci's, and all that kind of shit. And it's just like, that's not relatable. Who can relate to that? It's garbage. Not that I could relate to gangster rap back in the day, but at least it was fun to hear, people's stories.
When I hear Biggie Smalls, and he would talk about how his life's improved now, and and they're drinking champagne and stuff like that, because now he's made it as a rapper. But nowadays, all people ever talk about is, I got 100 girls on speed dial. I got dollar bills, y'all, and I'm drinking champagne out of crystal glasses. I mean, they're not talking about the struggle. They're not talking about any of that, which is what gave these guys the the inspiration to create the songs that they did. And people look at them as just as mindless, stupid thugs. No, they're not. These guys are geniuses to come up with this level of intelligence when it comes to the stuff that they're spitting out. It's you have to have a real appreciation of that. Like the same way people with Marvel.
Yes, but that doesn't bother me.
No.
No.
But once again, it's to do with their environment. But
yeah, it's their environment. It's part of their lexicon. It's the equivalent of us saying cunt. So I'm not fussed about that. But this one here, I've got to say, I loathe Kendrick Lamar with a passion. He's put on such a pedestal. I tried to listen to his stuff. He's got no flow. His voice is irritating. He can't rhyme for shit. I don't get the hype. I'm sorry. He's garbage. Absolute garbage. I just want to go this one here on the nail. Rap used to be indie, now it's corporate, just towing the line. Well, that was the problem, you see. Again, the music industry is just the victim of corporate monopolies. So in the early days when all these rappers kind of started off, they were mainly, a couple of them had signed on to certain record labels that were independent. And then basically Universal Music Group just ended up buying them all up, shutting them down. And the options for rappers preaching the ills of society just went out the window, and they were just replaced with your corporate friendly types like Puff Daddy and things like that just ain't gonna fucking rock the boat. Because he for me, he was the catalyst that started the end of hip hop for me, because he was the one that stood out for me. Him and Jay-Z stood out for me, that they were just promoting constant materialism all the time, selling you a product and all this. And I'm like, fuck off. I can't stand Puff Daddy. I hate him. Jay-Z, I'm 50-50 with him. Some of his stuff I like, but I blame him.
I was never a big Jay-Z. Sorry, I'm just off camera at the moment.
No, that's fine.
I never liked Jay-Z as much as a lot of people did. Guy's one lucky fucker to be hitting on Beyonce and Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy. I always felt he lived off Biggie.
He did.
Time. I do think he's a tremendous producer, because I did see his version of Pop Idol, like a rap idol thing, where he was like a reality show where he was trying to get all these rappers an opportunity to become successful, and all of these guys took it for granted. So much so he shut the show down, never let it finish, never let it come to a conclusion. Like like the rap version of Apprentice, he never got to the end, but he was so pissed off with the attitude of these motherfuckers who are all just kind of there thinking that it's a given that they're going to make it. And because of that attitude, he shut the show down. So I give him respect on that. Better businessman than he is a rapper, though, that's for sure.
So yes, I mean he's a fantastic businessman, but he's a massive fucking con artist. So with what you'll notice with him is everyone that he signed barely got an album out. They got a couple of singles on which he basically took most of that money, and then he just ditched new artists. So you don't see anyone under Puff Daddy post Biggie that became a huge runaway success that I know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he basically, like, if you look at people that talk about Puff Daddy, people that talk about Puff Daddy, then a lot of them have no good words to say about him. They say that he signed me onto a deal, got a couple of songs out of me, took all my money, ditched me to one side, and left me be. So he's just a shitty fucking person, a shitty good businessman in the sense that he'll take you, screw you, and leave you to one side, and just fucking awful. Just, the cancer of capitalism just seeps into everything, and it does my nutting. Almost everything. Dance music is still flourishing. It's still incredible. I say dance music, house music, all of that, still doing amazingly well. Indie rock, 50-50. It's not been the same after MySpace kind of went away. That kind of great resurgence that we had in the mid 2000s kind of died with it, but those bands are still around and they're still making fantastic albums because they're genuinely good talent. But I'm not going to dwell too much on hip hop. We've done 20 minutes on it. I fucking hate that genre with a passion. Hate it. It's in my top 5 worst fucking genres. Not of all time. That's the only one that I won't say of all time. But of the last 25 years, I just fucking hate it.
Sorry, what genre? I just got the last and the end of that.
What? Me, I loathe hip hop. I hate it. It's my most hated genre today. Like, along with just today, because garage is dead, jungle is dead, drum and bass fucking is crap as well. There's only 1 or 2 artists I like. That's it.
It hasn't aged well, like certain things, like when you hear drum and bass now, it sounds so shit. So exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of music. Sorry, did you want to say anything else, Zamo?
I just want to. I want to add something else, but if we're staying to music, then we can stick with music, and I'll bring it up later.
I'm literally just going to transition to one more thing about music, and then we can move on to whatever you want. So speaking of music, we're going into country music, and the whole controversy surrounding this country artist called Jason Aldean, who wrote a song saying, "Try that in a small town," which is basically, your typical stupid MAGA thing of being triggered by all the protests that were happening and the BLM stuff and all this kind of shit. And I think the video was performed in front of a famous place that was known for lynching. So there was a whole controversy around that. But I personally am like, so what? So what? Like, who cares if that's what he wants to do? That's his right as an artist to do it. Is it a shitty thing to do? Probably. But for me, it's the uproar by our side that kind of made me laugh, because I was just like, dude, we grew up with gangster rap. Yeah, you're giving him what he wants because now he's famous. Yeah. None of us knew who he was. But secondly, we fucking grew up with gangster rap. And that his stuff is fucking mild compared to the stuff that we heard, which even fucking idiots like in some of these artists advocating for the R word and all this kind of stuff. So I don't get the controversy around it. Just if they would ignored him, would have gone away, song would have come out, disappeared, the end. that's on that. So yeah, what do you want to?
Well, maybe it's a bit early to talk about this.
It doesn't matter.
In this, but Benjamin Mendy has been found not guilty for the
This is a footballer.
yeah for the child sort of abuse, sexual assault allegations that was thrown to him. And I'll be honest with you, like majority of people, I threw this guy under the bus. I immediately thought that he was guilty, considering we had people like Adam Johnson, you know, who is guilty and rightfully imprisoned. But Benjamin Mendy also seemed to be that sort of person too, and Manchester City fired him, you know, and that was the last we heard of him. And next thing you know, we thought he would be going to jail, but obviously he had a long, drawn-out court proceeding, which lasted 2 years before he had a child. Imagine mentally having to deal with that for 2 years, knowing where your life could be going, yeah. And the court procedures are over. And I'm trying to pull up some articles regarding this, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. But he was found not guilty, and next thing you know, all the footballers, you know, Rio Ferdinand, Cesc Fabregas, they're all congratulating him and all of that, and like just what I'm really trying to get at is what must it be like being somebody who is being accused of something and you are now found not guilty of. How do you come back from that? You know, it's
Stupid thing.
yeah. I mean, how do you come back from something like that? He's joined FC Lorraine, by the way. He's gone back to France.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's innocent. You know, I mean, he's not guilty, but you look at it innocent. He's been acquitted. You know, the charges are dropped, but he's always going to have that stigma of being a paedophile. People.
Paedophile? No, he was never accused of paedophilia. It was rape and sexual assault.
I'll say it's rape and sexual. Sorry, I'm getting my shit mixed up.
Yeah.
Rape and sexual assault. Yeah.
But let's be perfectly clear here. He's been cleared of 8 charges against 8 different women, and this is in the UK. So I honestly don't know what to say about this, because the British attitude towards women when it comes to cases of rape and sexual assault is abysmal. And someone like Mendy may have just dragged the cases out long enough to the point where the women are just drop the case because they can't deal with going on, because there's all the harassment and all this kind of shit that comes along with it. Or there's just, they just either pull out, or there's insufficient evidence, because it is very hard to prove this kind of thing. But if that's one case, I'll be like, okay, but 8 cases. Are you telling me 8 different women conspired over a course of God knows how many years to bring Mendy down? I normally I'll be like, look, the courts have spoken on this single case, but 8 fucking cases being dropped covering the same topics of sexual assault, I think it was like emotional abuse, or physical abuse, all this kind of stuff. But 8 fucking cases, man.
I can quickly read this article if you like.
Read it so people know. I know about it because I've read everything, but yeah, read it so people know.
Okay, yeah, because honestly, for me, I was a bit hazy on it, and I should have. I fell asleep early today, so I'm sorry for my lack of research. But here we go on the fly. Ex-Manchester City footballer Benjamin Mendy has been cleared of raping a woman and attempting to rape another. A 28-year-old was accused of attacking a 24-year-old woman at his £4 million mansion at Mottram St Andrews in Cheshire in 2020. Mr. Mendy was also accused of the attempted rape of another woman aged 29, who said that he had also molested her at home 2 years before. It comes after he was cleared of 6 rapes at an earlier trial in January. France International broke down 6 rapes earlier in a trial in January.
8 in general.
Yeah. The France International broke down in tears as the not guilty verdicts were read out by a jury foreman following a 3-week trial at Chester Crown Court. The jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for about 3 hours and 15 minutes before reaching their conclusion. Judge Stephen Everett said Mr. Mendy can be discharged from the dock. The footballer, whose contract with Manchester City expired this month, was cleared at the early trial of 6 counts of rape and 1 account of sexual assault relating to 4 young women, all teenagers. But jurors failed to reach verdicts on 2 counts of rape and attempted rape, prompting a retrial. Benjamin Anina case, say prosecuting, claimed that he enjoyed parties at his home and on 2 occasions took advantage of female guests, while his wealth and celebrity status turned him into a man not used to being told no. The first complaint, a woman A, 29-year-old student, first met Mendy while in a nightclub in Barcelona in late 2017, and she became intimate with one of his friends. The trial was told. They kept in touch for a year. She arranged to visit Mr. Mendy's friend at the footballer's house, where they stayed after they all went with other girls for a night out. The woman told the jury that the morning after, when she took a shower in the ex-suite bathroom, Mr. Mendy appeared uninvited wearing just boxer shorts, and he was visibly aroused. She alleged Mr. Mendy then grabbed her and tried to rape her on the bed, despite her repeatedly telling him to stop. Mr. Mendy told the jury the two were flirting during the night out, and the next morning he went to her room and they began hugging on the bed. He said she told him she would not have sex with him because she was with his friend. Mr. Mendy said that she had got upset when he told her he'd already asked his friend, who had told him it would be okay. He denied trying to rape her. Another complaint told woman B that told the trial that she was out with friends at a bar in Alderley Edge, Cheshire, near Mr. Mendy's home. When they were invited back to the footballer's house in 2019, the 24-year-old alleged that Mr. Mendy took her phone from her, which contained intimate photos, then led her to his locked bedroom as she asked for her phone back. She told the jury Mr. Mendy told her, I just want to have a look at you, and told her to take her clothes off, which she did. 10,000 women. 10,000 women. Sorry, it's a title. She said he threw her phone on the bed, and when she went to retrieve it, he raped her, despite her telling him she did not want to have sex. The woman told the trial that afterwards, Mr. Mendy said to her, "You're too shy. It's fine. I had sex with 10,000 women." Okay, I get it now. Mr. Mendy told the jury the woman had agreed to play around on the bed and deny raping her, saying afterwards that they swapped details to connect on Snapchat. Mr. Anina, prosecuting, claimed Mr. Mendy was not used to women saying no to him. He said, "You wanted women who came to your house to party, get drunk, and have sex." Mr. Mendy replied, "If they want, I'll never force to have sex with a woman." Article almost over, by the way. After hearing his solicitor, Jenny Wilshire said Benjamin Mendy would like to thank the members of the jury for focusing on evidence in this trial rather than the rumor innuendo that have followed this case from the outset. This is the second time that Mr. Mendy has been tried and found not guilty by a jury. He's delighted that both juries reached the correct verdicts. She said that Mr. Mendy had tried to remain strong, but the process had inevitably had a serious impact on him. Now he wants to offer privacy to be respected so he can begin rebuilding his life, Mr. Wilshire added. All right, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, Benjamin and I will just say watch this space and see what happens down the line. Because
I personally believe I think he's in his late 20s now, early 30s. I think he's going to be a lot wiser when it comes to this type of shit. He's been. If this shit repeats itself again, there's no way he will be able to stay out of jail, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But patterns of behavior and people like that end up fucking repeating themselves. And it's not just him, it's the fucking Ryan Giggs case got dropped as well. Oh, it came to a no guilty verdict. And it's just it's I feel hard to believe the accused. I really do, because of this country's attitude towards women. Like, all the time we fucking see it, and it just it bugs me. But what can you do? Non guilty, the man should be allowed to play. But what else can you say? That's his career. That's his life. You can't deny him that. It was the same as Lee Hughes after he killed somebody when he was drunk driving, I believe, and he served
The
time.
goalkeeper.
No, the striker, West Bromwich Albion.
Okay. I heard about that goalkeeper. He killed somebody as well, didn't he? And then he went to jail or he raped somebody or something like that. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but
I
remember of the striker because he was a good fucking striker as well. Then he did what he did. He served his time, and then came back and just carried on playing football. What else can you fucking do? Let's have a look here. Oh, speaking of trials, Trump trials date was set for May 20th, 2024. This places it such that voters will know going into the POTUS elections if they're voting for a candidate who's convicted of treason. Well, love the 45 as well. Very clever. One on the subject of convicted sexual predators. Yes. Well, with regarding Trump, by the time the trial takes place and all this kind of shit, it's going to it might end up getting elected president, which would be fucking hilarious because he's going full dictator if he does, and he's alluded to such as well by fawning over fucking Xi Jinping.
I think,
or it's just gonna lose to Biden, and then he's just gonna fucking end up going to prison or die because he's very old. So
I don't think he'll go to prison, but regarding him winning and being dictator, I think the guy is so incompetent that he will fall apart on that as well. And like people within his circle all end up infighting and stabbing each other in the back and stuff, even amongst his own family. I don't know how long that will last, but I do believe, if he became president again, democracy in America will pretty much come to an end. Because somebody else would be far more.
Any Republican that comes in next is bye-bye democracy because they're all fucking MAGA types. They're all like Ron DeSantis. Like, I'm so glad that he's so shit that he's destroyed his own campaign, because I've always said he is not something to fucking scoff about. He knows what he's doing in a sense that, he botched his campaign, but in terms of the judiciary systems and the courts and how to crush people's freedoms, he knows very well to do that. He's got his own
legal, isn't he?
Florida.
He's a lawyer, I believe. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But he's got no personality, and I think those sort of things do have a part to play when it comes to being picked. And I'm not surprised. I'm very happy in the way that he's actually so fucking unlikable that even people on his side of the political aisle want very little to do with him.
He's destroyed Florida. He's destroyed Florida and his own constituents are telling him, we don't care about the fucking trans thing. You're going too far. You've been stupid. We don't care about the war on the woke and all this crap. You've bankrupted us. We can't afford to live here anymore. Insurance companies have up and left because we're a climate risk, and so we can't get our houses insured anymore.
Can't get any people to work and pick up our
people can't work in the fields or on the housing because you put in this racist bill in without putting something else in place to replace all these illegal workers and all this kind of shit. And it's just all this has helped him kind of collapse. So if he becomes the nominee, he's just not gonna fucking do anything. He's just gonna wither away, thankfully. And everyone should thank their lucky stars that someone like Ron DeSantis doesn't come to power, and pray that nobody like him ever does, because it will
the only Republican who I wouldn't. I'm not saying support. But best of all evils Republican, it'd probably be Chris Christie. He's the only person who seems to be standing up to Trump and calling him out. Everyone else,
that fat fuck though.
No doubt. But everyone else, they've got no fucking balls, because Trump will fucking destroy you verbally and physically if he can. and just ridicule you and tear you apart and try to ruin your career, to all the people going up against him, including Chris Christie. But apart from Chris Christie, everyone else is still sucking up to Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis including. They just can't come down on him because they're too afraid of the MAGA backlash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They created their own monster, and it's fantastic because it's backfiring on them, because even Republicans are just like, what is this shit? What is this shit?
Lindsey Graham getting booed.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of these motherfuckers are full of shit anyway. Like, they all were anti-Trump in 2016. Then they all bent the knee like Game of Thrones afterwards. You know what I mean? They stand for nothing. They they don't. You don't know what side of the political aisle that they're on. It annoys me regarding MAGA because politics shouldn't be cult-like.
You're right, Vance. They're just running to be Trump's VP. Yeah.
Yeah, especially Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff like that. But what annoys me about the right wing is that when they get political, they truly become cult-like people, and they don't think logically whatsoever. Like, I've argued and debated with Trumpists in the past. You see their profile on Facebook, and there's a picture of Donald Trump looking like George Washington on a boat like this, and I'm thinking to myself, mate, nobody on the left would do that for anybody. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Like, you worship this politician. Like, I just, like, the level of worship for a politician, I find it is disgraceful. It's illogical. Like, these people don't even know what. I mean, he says a few racist things, and all of a sudden they're willing to fucking ride and die for this fucking orange fucking cunt. It's
Well, this one's easy. I could take away the MAGA and just put in Reaganism. Or neoliberalism, which is a right-wing capitalist thing. It's the same as over here in the UK. Okay? Republicans, right-wingers in general, right-wing politicians, and that includes the Democratic Party, because if you think they're centre anything, you're fucking stupid. The current Republican Party is far right. Not you're stupid. I don't mean to insult you. But, like, the current Republican Party is far right, and the Democrats are right-wingers. Okay? They're just not as racist. Although sometimes I question them. I mean, fucking Joe Biden is a massive fucking.
So before, I don't want to stop you in your track, but I do think socially they're more liberal than even our fucking parties are in the UK when it comes to some of their politics. But socially, but economically, they're just as right wing as the fucking.
Yeah. I mean that's fair. I mean, the Labour Party in this country mostly fucking arse backwards anyway. Bunch of turf. Fucking racist cunts. But Republicans don't offer anything to anyone. They don't. Like, they rely on a lot of the blue states to kind of prop up their states because most of them are in debt. They're pro-fascism. They fucking they go around fucking banning books. They give tax cuts to the rich, which doesn't give anything to anyone except to the rich. It doesn't create more jobs. It doesn't better the economy and all this kind of shit.
They're reactionary as well.
They're reactionary. They only deal with the now. They never think 10 steps ahead. They never look at the past. Okay. Their policies are just about giving their friends and corporations all the money and giving nothing to the poor and working class that built this country. They have nothing but disdain for the poor and the working class, or the middle class, because, sorry, you're American. But they have nothing but disdain for the middle class and the poor. They see them with contempt. They can't even allow students to get a $10,000 relief on student loans. They are sadistic, cruel human beings. They are anti-woman. They are anti-gay. They are just horrible, absolutely horrible. And you might not see that, but this is what we from the outside see, and anyone with half a brain in the States.
I want to quickly go on about reaction, but the reason being is, like, for instance, like the thing regarding pronouns. That was just something the left did regarding what people want to be described at, because we have more trans people now and who are openly trans and stuff like that. And then the right hears about all of this shit, they become anti-pronoun. It wasn't even a left-right issue regarding, COVID. It wasn't a left-right issue at all. But because scientists seem to be left-wing people, when they're advising you to take the vaccine, wear a mask, the right-wing reactionary, don't wear a mask, don't take the fucking vaccine. You know, this is typical of the right wing. They see what the left are doing, and they have to go the opposite fucking direction in every aspect. You know, they are totally reactionary, offer absolutely nothing. If it wasn't for the culture wars, they wouldn't have a leg to fucking stand on, because what policies do they ever bring out? What do they ever do to benefit people? Nothing. All they want to do is hate. They work on hate, because that's all they fucking got.
Yeah, and shit. What did you say earlier? I was going to say something, and now it's just gone out of my brain. Fuck. What did you say? And I forgot it. Policies. Oh, fuck. Oh, you carry on. Let me just give you a second.
Pronouns I mentioned.
The pronouns. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, so like, I mean, the whole anti-trans thing was just a fucking a gateway to just an avenue to just go back to being like, attacking gay marriage and gay rights and all this kind of shit. It was a gateway. It was a door. We warned liberals about this one because they bagged a couple of stupid white liberal women as well. We warned them about this and say, don't fucking jump on this bandwagon, because it's just an excuse to go after gay people. And look what's happening. They're going after gay people. And now gay right wingers are like, whoa, hang on a second. We didn't agree to this. I'm like, yes, you did, because you and your anti-trans rhetoric allowed for this to happen. You allowed for this hate to fester, and now it's coming after you. And this is they say, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And people just conveniently forget their history. And, that's it. They're going after, like, if a Republican wins the next election, I guarantee you gay marriage will be gone. Okay, you've seen how fucked and corrupt the Supreme Court is. I mean, Clarence Thomas is one of the most corrupt motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah,
corrupt. Sure. And it's nothing to fucking do about the color of his skin. Nothing to do at all. Because when you just give a shit about yourself and the money, everyone's in on the game. Anyway. Race is just utilized to cause division. At the end of the day, they don't give a shit. They're telling you, oh, Muslims are bad. Meantime, they're getting jacked off by a bunch of Saudis because they've got the money. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They're telling you to hate on them. Behind your back, they're just like, hey, what's up, pal? Let's go fucking drink. Give me money.
I want to get to this comment here. Unfortunately, I disagree. Democrats are paid. I mean, this is no offense. This is a stupid comment here. But I pay to help poor people. Pay to help poor people so they keep people poor. That makes no sense. And
no sense at all. That's a dumb comment.
What do the Republicans ever do to help anybody other than fucking rich people? And on top of that, Joe Biden came out with his student relief bill, and it was the Republicans who stopped that. He was trying to help poor people not remain poor, and the Republicans stopped that. Joe Biden initially, also whilst he was president, early on in his presidency, also gave relief, during some COVID relief as well. The Republicans had an issue with that. Like, they're saying that he's playing politics. Well, maybe he fucking is, because he's doing shit that's trying to help people, even if it's minimal. Even if it's fucking minimal, it's the least, it's the least they can do. Even though these politicians could do so much more to help fucking poor people, and they don't. They're doing way more than the fucking Republicans ever do. The Republicans don't do shit for poor people.
Also, people get astronomically poorer under Republicans. Why is that? Why do people get astronomically poorer? Because there are cuts in services, their wages don't go up, house prices skyrocket, and Democrats don't do fucking nothing to help this situation either. Everything goes up except people's wages. You still got your standard minimum wage is $7.25. I know a lot of places offer way more than that, because if they don't in this current climate, they're just not going to get people to sign up.
Isn't it went up to $15 under Biden? No.
No, he's
Okay,
waved that
okay,
around like a fucking
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
fair
a
enough.
thing. And $15 is not enough now. It's not enough when you have
Yeah,
in
it's got to be
inflation
20
right and things
minimum.
like that. Like I see jobs advertised here in the UK. They're still offering £10.90 an hour. I'm like, no, mate, no. You need to offer £16 an hour, bare minimum, because only at that kind of rate can you fucking survive in this country. You know, I'm sick and tired of hearing this fucking bullshit from the right that you know, like the left just to help people stay poor. No, no. What the right does is they give tax cuts to the rich. They hike our taxes up through many different means and fines and all this kind of stuff, and your little micro taxes and your wages and all this kind of shit. All right. They cut services. They cut all social safety nets. They cut education. They cut every fucking thing that helps destroy a country. I mean, look at America. America is a third world country with a Gucci belt. That's the best description I've ever heard someone say about America. And the UK is no different. After Brexit, this country plunged down, its economy destroyed. Inflation is fucking through the roof at 20%. Um, Poverty, housing, all gone. Like austerity through the roof. But who wasn't affected? The rich. If we're all
Oh,
in this together, the rich should be getting poorer, but they're not. Their wealth has expanded by over 800% in the last decade. Why is that? Well, it's very simple. You see, you give them tax cuts, you cut all our services, and they get to keep the money. Our public services, they get to keep all the dividends. The profit doesn't go back into the people and back into the service, it stays with the fucking shareholders. Okay, the system is a pile of shit. All right, it's rigged to help the rich and nobody else. And if you think that it's all about pulling up your bootstraps and all this kind of shit, those right wingers, if they didn't have the law on their side, they wouldn't fucking survive a minute out in the world. Okay, don't look at your average farmer that could do their thing and do their work, and your construction worker and all this kind of stuff, that they could do their work. These motherfuckers that are telling you to pull up your bootstraps wouldn't survive 5 minutes out in the world, in the real world, because they
yeah.
don't know what it's like to be us.
I think,
They
and
don't
they're
know
getting
anything.
socialism themselves, by the way.
Yeah,
They're
they
getting all
get
the
all the
socialism benefit.
socialism.
They're getting
The,
socialism themselves,
yeah,
these motherfuckers.
the
You
number
know,
one
so
motto, the number one
yeah,
motto that we on the left use is that it's socialism for the rich, and capitalism for the poor. They socialize all the losses, all the gains. No, all the lot. Wait, hang on. What was it? So any lot, basically, if a corporation makes losses, they get bailed out. All right. So
yeah,
socialism for the
constantly.
rich. Okay. They constantly get bailed out. If you can't afford your medical bills, you're fucked. I mean, the whole concept of having to pay for your medicine is just fucking beyond
Being
stupid. And
sick and being bankrupt. You imagine
yeah,
that? I just can't imagine it. I just want to also add like Republican politicians as well as Democrat politicians are already going through socialism right now, but they get so much government help in the first place by being politicians. But on top of this, you mentioned here, have you lived in a Democratic-run city? I have actually not lived. I mean, I've been to America and I've been to some of these cities, and well, cities just generally tend to be Democratic or left-wing because they tend to be melting pots. But outside of that, I mean, like some of the poorest and undeveloped places tend to be red states, you know, with bad education and stuff because you don't want to educate
no, a lot of the
your
red states
people.
are in debt as well. They need the
Yeah,
fucking.
and they're the
The,
ones on food stamps. They're the ones on welfare, all of that. But I want you to mention. So far, you've been very critical, TLD. What's so good about the Republicans? Because I also say this to libertarians as well, who constantly go on about what big government bad, this, that, and the other. What do you want? What's good? Explain to me the benefits, because I want to know why someone like me should admire Republicans, because at this particular moment they offer fucking nothing. Explain that to me, please, in your next comment. And yeah, so I had more. I had more to
that's all
say,
right.
but
I'm just looking at
my mind's all over the place. Let's get to some other comments here. Jim Jordan in charge of anything that proves oversight. Well, Jim Jordan is a guy who covers for fucking pedophiles. So fuck Jim Jordan. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. Like right now, TLD, when I'm focusing on you, basically, like you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene as a politician, this dumb fucking bitch, yeah, who shouldn't be anywhere near a Congress whatsoever. Her and Lauren Boebert, who, if you see some of the clips, you know, she was somebody who I think Ted Cruz fucking paid for, fucked her and said to her, you should run for fucking Congress, and she did. But nevertheless, there's nothing wrong in sex workers, because I fuck sex workers all the fucking time. I fuck a lot of tranny sex workers. They're my favorites at the moment. I've got to sing for tranny sex workers. But nevertheless, you got people like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. You got people like Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, who's a sex trafficker himself. What do these people offer other than trying to get a rise out of the opposition? I mean, these guys are fucking idiots. You listen to Petri Dish, you know, space lasers, you know, by the Rothschilds, which are burning up forests and fucking, you know, but I don't want to say Jewish space lasers. I'm being precise here. Space lasers by the Rothschilds that are burning up the forests in fucking California and shit like that. I mean, these are your politicians, mate. I mean, you might want to then, instead of explaining and defending these politicians, you'll probably want to sidetrack. Or what about AOC? AOC is a billion times better, but nevertheless, defend that. You know what I mean? Because you obviously, like Republicans, defend these fucking idiots. You know, because I need to know, and then defend the fact that now they're going after gays and trans again. You know, they're calling them pedophiles, even though there's so much pedophilia in conservative ranks that they don't fucking go after. You know, people like Roy Moore was a fucking pedophile.
Sorry, Rick.
Yeah,
I'm naked in the shower listening to you fucking trans sex workers having to think about Alex Kurtzman to kill my boner.
Man, I mean, honestly, fucking trannies is like the best thing ever.
Dude, can't say the word trannies, mate. It's trans. Just
I'm
trans.
sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you. Because you fuck them, we know you're not coming from a place of hate.
Yeah, I love them, man. I love it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I got a whole fucking. Mate, you know how fucking expensive they are than women. Like they're like really? 50, yeah, about 50, 60 quid more. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, I want to fuck asshole. You know what I mean? But I'm not into, even though I'm bi, I'm not really into guys as much as women. You know, so but trans are just like the best of both fucking worlds. You know what I mean? With I know I'm gonna get some ass, literally. You know what I mean? So, nevertheless, I'm kind of all over the place right now. Sorry,
yeah.
But yeah,
that's right. That's fine. I want to cut you off. I want to cut you off. I want to cut you off. Not for anything sinister. Just this bit here. So the lack of judges is a huge part of the border crisis. There aren't enough to hear asylum requests, and so. But this is again part of weaponization of against immigrants, because they did the same thing here in the UK, where they absolutely mullered the Home Office. They took away, they cut jobs. With Border Force and the Home Office and all this kind of shit, and just not enough people to kind of sort applications out, massive backlog, and you know, taking all kinds of measures to stop people from coming over. And then when they come over by dinghies, they just weaponize it and use that. What did you put here? Rick Bergman is in the building. Yes.
Yeah, Rick B. We've had some back and forth in the past. I'm glad I killed your boner, mate.
But this is what you do. So look, I give this a prime example here. So we just had a by-election, three by-elections here in the UK. They were all formerly Conservative Party seats, and one was Boris Johnson's, who resigned because he's a cunt and because of Partygate. The other one resigned. I don't know if he resigned in protest with Boris Johnson, and the other one, whatever. I don't really care, okay? But two of those seats, one went to Labour, one went to the Liberal Democrats, and the Boris Johnson's former seat, the Tories retained, and they retained that mainly because this thing called ULEZ. Now, ULEZ is the ultra low emission zone, which is this thing created by the Conservative government. All right. How does it affect you?
No, you don't pay. Because I'm a cab driver. No, I don't pay, but I'm saying it affects me because when I say sorry, let me rephrase myself. I'm very lucky to be driving an electric car, or it would affect me.
No, it wouldn't.
Because of my. What do you mean?
No, it wouldn't. No, but it only affects about 7 or 8% of the cars in the entire country. My car is a 2006 car. It's
Okay.
unaffected. It's and that's to the point. The point is, a lot of people think that the ULEZ thing
Gas
is
guzzlers.
basically for, it's for gas guzzlers and diesel cars under a certain age and all this kind of stuff, over a certain age.
It's affecting my cousin. He's got a classic Mercedes Benz.
Exactly. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he'd have to pay £12.50 every time to come in. But the point is, this is a Tory policy brought in by the Tories. Yet they did a masterclass in making sure that everyone thought it was Sadiq Khan's idea, and Sadiq Khan's the one pushing it, and it's all his. And every excuse used to hate on Sadiq Khan, apart from him being an Asian Muslim, which plays a huge fucking role in people's biases, by the way. They've used this ULEZ to kind of go after him and to depose him as London mayor. And that's what happened in Uxbridge, because Uxbridge is right on the border of like southwest London, and that's where the expansion is going to be. So they started off in central London, and now they've expanded it to the whole of London. Doesn't affect me, doesn't affect a lot of us, but it's still a shit idea in the sense that for the people that are affected, there's no grants given to them to scrap their cars in London. In other cities, they've given them grants to kind of help scrap their cars and buy more fuel efficient cars. So again, to try and fuck over Sadiq Khan, they withheld the grant deposit schemes within London. So it's taken a right-wing idea and policy that they had to implement and weaponizing it against the mayor. It's the same thing with immigration. They caused the problem, but then they weaponize it to say that, no, it's the immigrants that are the problem. And we see this time and time again. This is a right-wing thing. Electric cars are not substantial. How is electricity made? The TLD, I'm not here. Do you hear me promoting electric cars? Electric cars are a good city solution, but they're not a good rural solution. Okay, but we are decades behind on research.
I have an electric
cars. Okay, he has an electric car. You're in the city, they're perfectly good for the city.
And the technology is improving. I just want to add to this: the technology is improving regarding how electricity is made. On my roof right now, I have 10 solar panels. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways how electricity is made. My electricity bills, even though it cost me thousands of pounds to get all this shit set up, my electricity bills have gone down to next to nothing. As well, I have a battery in my loft which collects all that solar power. I have a low rate for electricity during the evening when I charge my car. So I charge my car at a very low rate. That's obviously between midnight and 5 a.m. And during the winter time, between midnight and 5 a.m., I'll use that low rate to charge my battery in my roof, so that way during the day we'll be taking that cheap electricity from the battery. If you understand where I'm coming from.
I know where you're coming from. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
But regarding how electricity is made, there's many ways outside of coal. You can make solar power, wind power, wave power. There are alternative ways of doing it. Eventually, fossil fuels will run out, and we need a different solution.
Well, what a lot of the companies don't tell you as well, like especially electricity companies, is that a lot of them are using renewable energy. But they're not telling you because they're making you, they're boasting about it, and yet they're still charging you an arm and a leg for it. So the problem isn't really the renewable energy. The problem is fucking capitalism and the corporations fucking running it because they're greedy for profit cunts. So to your question there as well, how is electricity made? Again, when you are in charge of producing fuel and energy, you're going to do everything to protect your bottom line. So you are going to suppress greener renewable energy sources for electricity. You are going to, make sure that you're still burning as much fossil fuel as possible and fracking the ground and all this kind of stuff. So your question isn't about, you're very anti-progress anyway, because you're a right winger. So we get that. You like the status quo because change scares the shit out of you. But the point is it's not just about electric cars, okay? It is about finding newer alternative sources of fuel. Hydrogen has been in the works for decades, and every time there's a breakthrough, what happens? The fucking oil lobby comes in
hydrogen,
and be like, no,
yeah.
block this, suppress it, do not fucking say anything,
And
and
hydrogen
all
will
this kind of
eventually,
shit.
yeah. And hydrogen will eventually come into use. I mean, we have oceans of water. Hydrogen will definitely be a power source in the future. That's for sure. And also, by the way, TLD, I'm sure being right wing, you probably have some libertarian values. Me having solar power is being self sufficient off the grid. Surely something like that you would appreciate as well. But yeah, it's hard to say
No,
with
but
libertarians
how is
because
this
you,
corporate overlords going to make profits if you're living off
yeah,
the grid?
yeah,
That's,
yeah, good
come on, think
point.
about his feelings, for the
It's so
love of
nice.
God.
It's so nice when yeah.
Yeah,
It's so nice when
so,
you
yeah,
yeah.
go on.
Go on.
No, so on this here, Zam Ginger, is ULEZ on top of the congestion charge? Yes, it
Yep.
is.
Yes, it
Yes, it
is.
is, because the problem we have in this country uh, is every solution to a problem equals find new ways to extract money from the working class. Because all these policies don't affect the rich. A rich person will happily go into central London through the congestion charge, park their car, get a parking ticket, come out. If they're fucking stinking rich, that to them is like a 10
And I
pounds
know
on a
about
day
this.
out. Yeah, yeah. I've
I
seen.
know. With,
Go on.
sorry, just to add, one of my friends who worked in the legal profession, he mentioned how his boss would constantly be getting parking tickets, and he would just give the ticket to his secretary and say, "Deal with it," and that's
Yeah,
it. You know
that's
what
it.
I mean?
But to them,
Well,
it's
comment here.
nothing. But if you charge a poor person, Sadiq Khan is a wanker. I hope he gets voted out. And the May campaign he launched, oh, that's so fucking cringe. That's so cringe. Sadiq Khan is benign. He's
Doing
benign.
his super loop,
He's
the super loop set.
yeah, he's a nothing man. I like the Superloop idea. Fucking love that.
Yeah,
You know.
super loop was a
Look,
good idea. Yeah.
Boris and Sadiq have brought in fantastic things as their mayorship, and I know that sounds crazy to hear that. I voted for Boris because I fucking hate Ken Livingstone, and I hated Ken Livingstone. I voted for Ken Livingstone when he was an independent, but the minute Ken Livingstone came into power, what did he fucking do? He doubled bus fares, and then eventually got rid of people paying fucking fares, took away money from the buses and pushed everyone onto the Oyster cards. So the man that hated cars made public transport more expensive, and he jacked up my council tax. Went up 300 quid under his mayorship. Under Boris, and we had the western extension of the congestion charge and the congestion charge. All right. Under Boris, he got rid of the western congestion charge. He froze council taxes, and he implemented the Boris Bike scheme, which basically stole from King Livingstone and all this kind of shit. Sadiq Khan has done the Hyperloop. He's done the £1. I think it's like £1.75 per hour using a bus, which is really good. Like, you don't pay more than that, so you can use as many buses within the hour.
No idea about that. If I don't take
Yeah.
public transport,
That's a really good, really fucking handy thing to have. And he's done what he can at best with the Tories trying to fuck him over at every ounce, at every corner. Yeah, but aside from that, he's benign. He's the perfect mayor because he's inoffensive. He's
no,
just
sir.
that.
No, sir.
I'm not a
I'm not
nothing. Please stop calling me names. Provide me.
We have been giving you lots of answers.
We've given you plenty of answers. It's just what you want to fucking hear, mate. All right, and this is a problem with dealing with right wingers. Okay, you only hear what you want to hear, and because you can't fucking register things that don't make sense to you. And I'm tired of arguing with right wingers because your mind is set; it never changes. You are stubborn and stupid. I used to be a fucking center right person, but when I looked at the fucking evidence, I went to the left. Why? Because it fucking made sense to me, and I'm open-minded. People like you, I get angry because you're not unique. You are a copy paste of every right winger I've ever dealt with. The same mentality, the same dumb shit every fucking time.
Going against your best interest all
Always
the time.
against your best fucking interest, and you never listen to reason, and you think that everyone else, part your side, is bad. But we will happily criticize even our own side and tell you what's lacking, what needs to be. Like, I'm so fucking fed up with it. ULEZ will change to pay per mile. Well, again, if that's implemented, that's a Tory policy. That's fuck all to do with Sadiq Khan. All right. Grant Shapps is the one that forced Sadiq Khan and to get more money for TFL. He said, fine, but you have to expand the ULEZ. So again, it's all because of the Tories. All right. Sadiq Khan is annoying and self-serving. That's every politician. That's literally every fucking politician. What was Boris Johnson? Look at the billions he spunked away as a London mayor. You know, and he's like the epitome of a self-serving idiot. We have Tesla and are planning to get solar when the roof next needs repaired. Have crossed the country a couple of times now with no issue. I'd rather depend on the sun than money. Yeah, lovely. Wonderful.
Likewise.
Yeah, lovely jubbly. Not a fan of the Tesla, but you know, if it does the job, fantastic. Join the stream. You seem in favor of right-wing ideas. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah. And to that, Rick B, if the ULEZ does change to pay per mile, then that's just, again, like I've said, every implementation is not about saving the environment. Okay, it's all about finding new ways to find the poor and the working class. And I'm not defending Sadiq Khan on this. I'm just saying that it's not his policy. He didn't implement it. The Tories did. It started under Boris, and he just wants to expand on it. Again, it's all about the clever weaponization of unpopular things. But then I just saw on broadcast today that actually people living within central London and on the outskirts of London are actually finding in favor of the fucking ULEZ, which I cannot fathom why, because I'm not really in favor of it, to be honest. You just prove your point. You keep insulting me. Yeah, I know, because I've dealt with your kind a million times, and I haven't proved anything of your point. We gave you answers. One second.
I won't.
Yeah. We gave you answers. You didn't hear the answers. So all that's left to do is insult you. Okay? Because when you don't get the answer that you want, it's not going to register in your brain. And so people like us get frustrated trying to explain to you. It's like trying to talk to a child that doesn't understand because its mind is already made up. Ergo, what is the point in talking to you?
Just want to quickly add, we already explained to you regarding the Republicans. I mean, you haven't mentioned the fact that, you know, why you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got people like Donald Trump, who is a convicted sexual, who's convicted for sexual offense against that Billy lady. You know, he's actually convicted of that. Yeah, he's still going to be running for president, being indicted several times, impeached, everything. Republicans don't seem to be giving a shit about anything other than Hunter Biden's laptop, all of these sort of things. You don't bring up any of the policies that Republicans have brought up that helps the regular people whatsoever. You know, instead of like constantly attacking the other side, so to speak, tell me what good the Republicans have done.
Yeah, you haven't answered our questions.
One goddamn thing.
Yeah.
All right. Boris is also, of course he is, Rick B.
Boris is also a wanker, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. I don't care about Sadiq Khan. I don't. I'm just stating on the ULEZ thing. I'm just stating the facts. But I've said he's benign. He's irrelevant. You know, I'm happy for him to go. I'm not a Labour supporter. All right. I was under Corbyn. I wasn't before that, and I'm not now. So I don't give a shit if Labour go out. Tories are gonna get wiped out in the next election, and we're gonna replace him with Keir Starmer, who is just as bad, if not worse, than the fucking Tories.
We are a two-party solution in this country, is what drives me nuts, because I make fun of the Americans for being two-party, but nobody is willing to take a chance on one of these alternative parties that we have in this country.
No, it's changing. It's changing. It is changing because, like, for example, nobody expected the Greens to take 10% of the votes in Uxbridge yesterday. That was a huge shock. And I know it's still not enough compared to what the other two got, but it's changing. Like in a generation of youth, when they come up, they're just going to be like, it's just going to be Labour versus the Greens.
It's just Stockholm syndrome with voters. They complain about the fucking Tories. Yet I've seen these people on TikTok videos and stuff like that. They complain about the Tories, and who they're going to vote for? The Tories. Like, you know, the very thing the Tories are doing wrong to them, they're going to still end up voting for them. It makes no sense. A lot of people complaining about immigration and shit like that, but they won't vote for Labour because they're worried about immigration, even though all the immigration issues have been happening under the fucking Tories. You know, it's just because the Tories come up with all this anti-immigration rhetoric. You know, it appeals to them, even though the problems they've been having for the last, you know, decade and a half, it's under the fucking Blue Party. It's just ridiculous. You know, it's just
yeah.
I
I mean,
my head against the fucking wall.
Well, I mean, this.
He does
But
look
so
like
you've gone centre right, which is status quo politics. Okay, this is the nothing's ever going to change politics. This is what Labour is at the moment, though I'd call them more right wing at the moment. That's fine, but don't expect any changes. Don't expect your life to improve under centre right politics. It's just not. All right, and I could tell you for a fucking fact that a lot of Corbyn's ideas, people are floating around now that he's not around. But that's again out of petty vindictiveness and to protect the status quo. They scoffed and smeared and destroyed him at every corner, and it wasn't just the UK, and it wasn't just the Labour right and the Tories. It was a fucking the Board of Deputies, which is a powerful Israeli lobby within the UK. It was the Russians and it was the Americans. It took that much to bring Corbyn down, and people in this country fell for it because these people in this country are stupid. They're stupid and they believe what they're told. Right. And that's fine. And I'm happy to just let this country fucking burn to the ground because it's what they deserve. The British Empire is nothing but a fluttering turd in the wind that's completely fucking irrelevant, but somehow produces enough money to go around blowing up other countries and helps BP depose fucking democratically elected leaders and put in militias in all these fucking oil-rich countries. Okay, we're just as bad as the Americans. And this is what people. That's the status quo you're voting for. That's what you want, you know. But
look, I when I am willing to take a chance on having a political talk with one of my customers in my cab, but I do it can get a bit risky sometimes. You don't want to offend anyone and get a low rating or whatever. I do have these debates, and a lot of people are anti-Corbyn, as you can imagine, as the Addison Lee customers. They say
they didn't want to pay a bit of extra money. Yeah, they're unaffected. But, like a lot of your customers are rich, so they're loving this system. Yeah. They're loving this system.
But at the same time, they're still being affected by it. But a lot of them go to say that they're really happy that Corbyn didn't get in charge, or this country would be ruined. But they don't seem to realize this country has been ruined under the fucking Tories. You know, people with totally different political direction to Jeremy Corbyn. They've ruined this fucking country, and people are so blissfully unaware of this, and they think that Jeremy Corbyn would have ruined this country, even though we never gave it a shot. I am 46 years old, Ginger Greek, and everyone else out there in YouTube land. And in my 46 years of living in this country, I've never experienced a left-leaning government. Tony Blair's New Labour was right wing, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Every government every government we've had is being right wing. I want a proper left wing fucking government, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a prime example. Well, Mexico at the moment, just in a few years of them having their president, they've had a huge fucking turnaround, and people just be like, "Oh, the gangs, the drugs, and all the gangs." Yeah, but the policies that they've put in place is really fucking helping uplift the poor. All right, they're nationalizing their lithium, which is driving the Americans fucking crazy. Chile, in the 2 years,
that's why they want to go to war with them. By the way,
yeah, of course, yeah, they want to go to war because they want their lithium. Yeah, and they're going to use the border as an excuse. The Chile, in the 2 years before Pinochet came in, and the Americans, you know, basically put him in, and all that. Massively turned around their country under a left-wing government in just 2 years. All right. But this is what you need to understand. The reason left-wing governments don't work is because they're not given a chance to work, because it means that the corporations aren't going to get all their resources. So you can't have a left-wing government. People do not understand how fucking socialist the Middle East was. All right, because tenets of Islam follow a lot of socialist
Yeah,
policies.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
All right. Yeah. And the Middle East was extremely socialist. All right. Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, fucking Jordan, Lebanon, all these fucking places, Somalia, all these fucking places. Okay. Not so much the Saudis. They were the idiotic anomaly, which is fine. All right. But then what happened was, after the whole OPEC crisis in the 70s, the Americans were like, right, we are not going to have these fucking countries controlling their oil under no circumstances. So they went in and shat all over the Middle East. All right. South America has never, ever, ever been allowed. Like, I can show you a picture of the amount of times the Americans have interfered in South America. Okay. It's just fucking mind-boggling.
Their governments and
overthrowing their governments all the time. Africa too. They're doing it right now.
Mainly.
They're doing it right now. Sudan, Kenya, all this. This is all because of the Americans.
Any left-wing or socialist government, political leaders, some of them have been assassinated. You know, and it's incredible because because Africa itself as a country is like the land of everything. Like, all your materials are there. Would it be your metal materials like your gold and all of that, or various types of food? There's so much shit you can get from Africa. It's full of resources, and certain governments want to go left wing and capitalize on that for their society, but but because forces outside of Africa don't want that to happen, because they want to fucking constantly invade Africa and take everything. They put in puppet fucking governments and dictators to run those fucking those countries, to basically benefit places like America and Europe.
I mean, they're all every fucking dictator this world has ever had is a CIA puppet. Every fucking single one, except for maybe North Korea. But
I'd like to say that. And China now.
Well, China is China. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Like China, not even like not since the fucking end of the Second World War.
And Russia as well.
No, Putin was a Blair and Bush puppet. They approved him after Yeltsin resigned.
Yeah, but he's not playing ball, is he? So
no, but that's what's happened with every dictator they've put in. Saddam Hussein was a CIA puppet.
Gaddafi as well.
Gaddafi was a CIA puppet, and it backfired on them. Idi Amin, Pol Pot, all of them.
Yeah,
all of them. From the Greek junta. See, and I'm the best person to talk about this kind of thing because my own fucking country experienced it. Both of my countries, okay? My mother is from Cyprus, my dad is from Greece, and they both lived under the junta, okay? And everyone in Greece will tell you the fucking British and the CIA were responsible for that, and they were the reason that Turkey ended up invading Cyprus, because they put these juntas in, and what do juntas do? They tell you everyone else is your enemy. They promote fucking nationalism and all of that. And the Turkish Cypriots felt threatened after this, and the Turks were like, well, hang on a second. And the British were egging them on because they're like, yeah, we don't want Cyprus to have complete control because they want to kick us out. So they allowed Turkey to come in, a NATO country invading another NATO country. All right. And this is all because of fucking the British and the Americans and the CIA and their, juntas and dictator plants and all this kind of shit. Oh my God. I've lived in R&D run areas. Places are always poorer, underfunded because they are poor. Our places are nicer and do
Arkansas.
well.
Yeah, you're talking about places like that,
Oh yeah, Arkansas or Florida, which has one of the worst crime rates in the whole of the USA, and the mass shootings and all this kind of shit. Yeah, you're doing great.
When it comes to poverty, just generally, and education as well, which is really poorly done in red states, and obviously, what's his name, the the governor of Texas now, who recently brought in that water ban, which is very Republican of him, regarding people not being able to take water breaks. Nice, very clever. I'm sure someone like yourself would love to live in Texas with that particular ruling over them. There's no point in you calling. Look, the thing is, you called yourself a centrist earlier, TLD, and I can't stand people who do that because no one's ever in the middle. No one ever is in the middle. You're either one side or the other. It's very rarely, if ever, people truly in the middle. They might be socially liberal and economically conservative, but still they're always going to slant one direction to the other.
Well, those that are economically conservative just help. They just help.
Those are neoliberals.
Status quo. Neoliberals. They help the status quo, and they allow for the kind of hatred to fester and all these kind of right-wing policies that come in to kind of split and divide people.
Benefit.
Because they love it. They still benefit financially from it. So they're like, I may not be anti-gay, but I like money, and I like money enough to allow the right to carry on with all this fucking shitty, hate-filled rhetoric.
And by the way, like more democratic areas seem to be more highly populated as well.
Yeah, they have a higher population, and let's be clear.
More people in the whole state of Wyoming, for instance.
Let's be perfectly clear. The Democratic Party, again, they're not left wing. All right, they are right wingers. So Republican at the moment are far right.
They're Republican light,
and the Democrats are Republican light, and democratically run places are still doing very, very Reaganomic style policies. They're not reinvesting the money into the poor. They have high taxation, and that fucking money just goes on your military or whatever. It doesn't go into fucking education. It doesn't go into like housing or health or any of that kind of shit. So I'm not going to sit here and fucking Democrats. They just don't. And anytime they do, some cunt comes in and says no, or we'll vote you out, kind of thing. And there's no win. At the end of the day, Democrats, Republicans, it's all for the benefit of the rich and the corporations. That's it.
Simple as that. Economic policies, just that the Democrats are different when it comes to social policies. But I will say that for Americans to call the Democrats the left is actually an insult to true left-wing politics. Because they are not. They are just given that term. They're not. They're just right and center right. So you got alt right, which are the Republicans, which are just the worst of the worst. And then you got the center right, which are the Democrats with maybe some left wing ideologies when it comes to social policies. But economically, they're pretty much the same. So if you do think both cities are run poorly, it's not fucking surprise because the ideology is very similar to one another.
So let's have a look here. So the 20 cities with the highest violent crime rates, number of incidents per 100,000 people are St. Louis, Missouri, 2,082 per 100,000. Detroit, Michigan, 2,000. Baltimore, Maryland, 2,027. Memphis, Tennessee, where the mass shootings are occurring, 2003. Little Rock, Arkansas. Milwaukee, is that Wisconsin? Rockford, Illinois. Cleveland, Ohio. Stockton, California. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Springfield, Missouri? Yeah. Indianapolis, Indiana. Oakland, San Bernardino, California. Anchorage, Arkansas. Nashville, Tennessee. Lashings, Missouri. Lansing, Missouri. New Orleans, very Republican area. New Orleans, last time I checked. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Chicago, Illinois.
So this comment's driving me nuts a little bit. Democrat needs to also stop virtual signaling with pushing vote policies. Like what, mate? Like not shitting on trans people. Like let's not call trans people pedophiles.
But but hang on. He specifically said woke policies.
I want to know. Yeah,
policies. What woke policies? The only woke policy I could think of, I might be wrong here. There might have been some pushed, is gay marriage by Obama, and he was against it until he realized that that's political suicide. So he was pro it. Hillary Clinton as well was against gay marriage. until they're like, we're going to lose the gay vote, so we better go pro.
Okay, like, yeah. Why is like, and just generally, why is like helping gay people and trans people such a bad thing? Like that they have to call them woke for it and stuff like that, or helping ethnic minorities such a bad thing that you have to be called woke for it. Stuff like that. You know, as somebody who ticks so many boxes, you know, I'm from family of immigrants. You know, I'm not straight. I'm fucking, you know, I'm left leaning and all of that sort of shit. I tick various fucking boxes, you know, that would put me in the woke category. I almost feel like I'm being targeted in every aspect for that, for my own fucking existence. Why is someone like me fucking such an issue, you know, for people on the right? I just don't get it. You know, that's only called actual pedophiles. I agree. I totally agree. But unfortunately for the right wing, they've used it as such a slur now. It's becoming diluted, in my opinion. But they just call everyone a groomer and a pedophile without really knowing what the fuck they're saying. And in a way, it's a lot of deflection because you know when it comes to the right wing,
every fucking
confession.
The last 20 mugshots I've seen have been right wingers preaching against fucking LGBT being groomers and pedophiles, and guess what they get arrested for?
Yeah.
20.
You go online
in
right
the last
now,
just couple of weeks.
Every day, pretty much, almost every day, there is a pastor, a Christian evangelical pastor, who's fucking being arrested for pedophilia. It's almost on a daily fucking basis. You know what I mean? You know, they're constantly deflecting. You know, Jim Caviezel, the guy who did Caviezel, who did that the Sound of Freedom. You know, he's going on about the left being pedophiles and shit like that. He's a hardcore fucking Catholic, and he doesn't acknowledge the fact that within the Catholic Church, pedophilia is rampant. You know what I mean? But
and let's be clear. When it was saying, oh yeah, but those are gay pedophiles, and I'm like, yeah, but there's just as many gay pedophiles as there are straight pedophiles. You know, well, actually, no, that's a lie. There's obviously because the population of straight people is higher. There's obviously more straight pedophiles than there are gay pedophiles. But pedophilia is pedophilia. I would not. None of us will sit here and fucking defend. Yeah, it's fuck all to do with gender. We're not going to sit here and defend and be like, oh, just because they're gay, we're gonna no. Fuck that cunt. Fuck that cunt. Like, he's a pedophile. Yeah. It doesn't matter what they're gender. They're a fucking pedophile. And the Catholic Church has a huge problem with that. But the oh god, and I had the video the other day about the what the Catholic Church did to suppress news and information coming out and prosecutions taking place, and tried to absolve themselves of any kind of prosecution, despite that fact that over 1,000 children have been molested in, I think, the last god knows how many years. You know, so these kind of people are going to be like, no, not us, them. How many pastors got caught with dicks in their mouths while they were trying to stop gay marriage from taking place all those years ago? You know, it's just fucking. At the end of the day, it's not even. Yeah, exactly, and it's not. And the thing that annoys me with pedophilia is a pedophilia issue. It's not a left and right thing. Okay, it's a thing about protecting children. But right wingers don't give a fuck about children. They weaponize children to push their own agenda. And I'm not going to say that it's just right wingers that do it, but they do it to the point where it has extreme consequences. When the left does it, it's more to do with TV shows being fucking vanilla, political correct, and all this kind of shit. Benign. It's not really world shattering. But when the right do it, it's to target specific groups, and we've seen the rates of murders and suicides of trans people skyrocket because of this. All right, that's the fucking fun. And we're saying, well, no, we should all be working together to better the lives of children. But you don't actually care about children. You just want to push your agenda, and you're using children as the crux to do so. And it's disingenuous.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah,
Marjorie Taylor Greene has actually said that, you know, all trans people are pedophiles. She said that. You know what I mean? Just played out. Said that can get away with it, no consequences whatsoever. You know, it's just a common thing. Like you see in churches and stuff. You know, all these evangelicals saying that, you know, gay people are pedophiles and stuff like that. It's all come from you know, Eastern European anti-gay politics where they are all calling anyone who is gay a fucking paedophile out there, you know, and
That's where it came from.
Yeah,
That's
and
where it
they're now
started
doing
in
it here
Russia.
yeah,
It started in
Yeah.
Russia and it moved over here. They were
Yeah.
able to weaponize it, but I mean, you know, it was like, you know, flicking hay. It didn't take much to fucking do it.
Comment here. Like, so are the
Yes.
Republican cities not doing the same? I mean, with this ideology, are you saying the Republican cities are not doing the same?
They have
If they're
higher
not,
rates
then
of
how-
poverty.
if they're not, how they're not doing it?
Yeah,
I want to know, because you throw all this shit out, and I want some you know, clever responses or logical responses, intelligent responses regarding what makes the Republican cities better, and how they are not keeping poor people poor. What are they doing that the Democrats are not doing? Explain that to me, please. Educate me. Catholic Church does the same thing with problem priests as the police do with problem cops. Just move them to another city. Yeah, well, the cops in fucking America. Yeah, I fucked. Yeah, they're like trigger happy, mate. I already told you the story. I went to America, asked the policeman for directions, and the motherfucker almost shot me. I was only asking for fucking directions.
Al
You know what I
Qaeda.
mean? You know, the thing is, I could look like Al Qaeda and go up to an armed police officer in the UK, and I would not be worried about getting shot, because our cops are not fucking trigger happy. You motherfuckers can't wait to fucking pull the trigger.
Yep.
Stupid policies like reparations for blacks, for example. I have no problem with trans people and don't think they are pedos. Reparations for blacks?
No fucking black person's got reparations.
That's a new one for me. I'm like, what the hell are you on about?
What the fuck, Rick B, mate? Where are you getting your information from, mate? I think you're getting it from the same source as TLD. Here you go. Like, poorest cities in the United States are Detroit, Michigan. Well, that's a fucking given that they shut down all the car factories and moved them to Mexico. Cleveland, Ohio. Daytona, Ohio, Marge. Oh shit! Is the battery run out on my mouse? God damn it! Can you hear me? All right? Oh, I've frozen.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
You're fine.
Hartford, Connecticut. Rochester, New York. Newark, New Jersey. Jackson, Mississippi. Syracuse, New York. Well, again, New York. Fucking high prices, high cost of living. Birmingham, Alabama. Springfield, Massachusetts. I've been to Springfield, Massachusetts. I think that's the home of Dr. Sales as well. My friend moved there. Very nice. He lived on Elm Street. Fucking Elm Street. Doesn't live there anymore. But I'm just going to change the battery to my mouse. I'll be right back.
And this we're looking regarding reparations for blacks. It's to do maybe possibly with like slavery in the past. You know, Americans, they gave reparations to Native Americans as well, because when they invaded their country, people from Europe,
well, the British did, not the Americans.
No, yeah, because they are the Americans, the Native Americans.
Yeah,
yeah. So like, yeah, because the so-called July 4th shit, which was basically white people having their beef on American land and then saying that they were free and calling themselves Americans, even though they weren't, because the real Americans are Native Americans, but they ended up slaughtering them. And so they decided, you know, we're going to give you reparations by letting you open casinos where the fuck you want and shit like that. You know, I mean, some of this stuff, by the way, it is pandering to a degree, but then, like, they're not that big a deal, because you know what? Which demographic of people constantly get reparations? The rich, the fucking rich.
Always.
They are reparation city. Yeah, and they're done by Republicans as well as Democrats, obviously, but mainly Republicans.
Always. Just look at
constantly doing the fucking bailouts and tax cuts and shit like that. You know what I mean? But nothing ever gets fucking done about
Nobody gets more upwards mobility and help than the rich. They get all the tax cuts, or they get all the socialism, all of the socialism, all of it, and the rest of us get told there's no money. Of course there's no money. You stole our fucking money.
UK, but you got to understand, the UK were people who were, whether they be the people under the crown or against the crown, they weren't natively American. They just had their beef on American land. And once they defeated once the British people who are against the crown defeated the British people for the crown, yeah, they called America their fucking home, and then started enslaving black people because they're not allowed to be free, and started fucking killing off Native Americans.
There were slaves were there already, but they just took a lot.
Sorry, I misinterpreted that, but I'm just saying, when it comes to Americans getting their freedom, the black people were never free, and the Native Americans, well, unfortunately, they were there. They were an inconvenience, and they had to fucking go by.
Well, I mean, the British had done treaties with the Native Americans, promising not to expand westwards. And then as soon as the Americans came in, which ironically they raised fucking taxes on their own people after they gained independence. So good job. Eventually they pushed forward with Manifest Destiny, which was basically genocide against the Native Americans, mass genocide against the Native Americans, the Trail of Tears and all that kind of shit. So winning, well done. So to answer that, also, reparations is not woke policies. It's giving black people what they have owned, what they were robbed of for years. I mean, you could also argue that a certain population of the Irish would be deserved that as well, because there was Irish slaves and indentured servants and Native Americans and all this kind of shit. All right. Greece is the only country in Europe that never got reparations from Germany after the Second World War. Why was that? Because Greece had the audacity to try and go communist, and the British were like, all them Nazi sympathizers were in prison. I'll tell you what, let's let them out and create them and have a nice big Greek civil war to make sure that communism doesn't pop up in Greece, even though the communism in Greece was vastly different to Stalinism, because they did not want to associate with Stalin because they didn't like him. They thought it was a horrible fucking human being and an insult to communism. And but of course we couldn't have that. So Greek Civil War, as soon as the Second World War ended, we had that for years. So my granddad shot in the leg for it.
Regarding reparations, I'm all for helping people out who need the help. This is better for society. This is not necessarily giving people a handout, but giving them a hand up. This is what we need to be doing. We need to be helping up elements of society that need that, not rich fucking people who don't need the help. We need to be helping out people who do need the help. And if that's the demographics and elements of poor black people, then so fucking be it. Anything that makes things better for society, help them big time.
Who the fuck? The British ain't been a victim of anything, mate. Not since Harold, King Harold, fucking invaded. Like, and we got our fucking money's worth out of the French after that. So we're all right. and their reparation. They were like, fantastic. After all the ransacking that happened during the imperial years, we've made all our money back and then some, and we now have the best economy in the world.
So just educating myself on the Trail of Tears. I'm not aware of this, so I don't want
to. Trail of Tears is horrible. Just being marched in fucking death from one side of America to the other, knowing that you're gonna die and not being able to walk through certain towns and paths.
As part of Andrew Jackson's Indian removal policy, the Cherokee Nation was forced to give up its lands east of Mississippi River and migrate to an area in its present-day Oklahoma. The Cherokee people called this journey the Trail of Tears because of its devastating effects. Fair enough. I mean, for America to have its freedom and all these people to be living free, even though you have for-profit prisons that corporation prison American citizens for money, and you call yourself the greatest country in the world, even though you have mass shootings on a regular basis. Nevertheless, to have all of that freedom, a lot of people had to get fucked over for that who weren't fucking white and from European parts of the world. So, any sort of reparations to help these people out, I'm all fucking for it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like people talk about UBI and all of that. All the UBI is doing is replacing your wages that have been stolen from you, because if wages raised with inflation, the minimum wage would be $25 an hour, £25 an hour. And you think that's outrageous. But if you go back 40 years and you see the price of food, housing, your energy bills, travel, and all this kind of shit compared to your wages, you lived very fucking comfortably because your wages kept up with inflation. But then when Thatcher and Reagan come along, or neoliberalism came along, they were just like, nah. Up goes everything else, your wages stagnate. And worker ethic still as high as it's always been, but wages are fucking 40 years behind inflation.
I'm gagging to answer this question. Yes, they should be fucking paying reparations. You know, they were colonizing the goddamn world for fuck's sake, taking all our resources and making their own. The fucking crown jewels. You know, none of those fucking jewels are from fucking Europe or from England. They're from all over the fucking countries that they colonize. They have benefited from, you know, from taking aspects of every part of the world and bringing it into their own. That's why immigration is so high in European and white-led countries, because they fucking extracted everything else. And so people have to leave their own countries to come to places like Europe, come to places like North America, Australia, places like that, in order to fucking have some sort of fucking life, because they've taken it all. So yeah, pay reparations, pay it all, pay it for fucking me, pay it for my fucking family, you know. And by the way, coming to the UK, this is the motherland for us now, because you know they colonized our own countries. So all the fucking people in this country who hate all the immigration, well, you shouldn't have fucking colonized our own countries, because we're now coming back to the motherland, and this is where everything's happening. So you know, we are theoretically part of like a British EU sort of setup. You know, if we're part of the colony, then we should be able to come here with no fucking problem.
Not that common.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, look, if you want to talk about the first corporation to fucking colonize a whole country, you can look at the East India Company. They were literally in there, and as soon as the Indians were like, we want a better deal, this is a little bit thing, we don't like all this, or we're going to do deals with other countries that are giving us a better bang for our buck. East India Company, right? Fuck you, we're going to colonize a whole fucking country now. Fuck this shit. And that was the first ever corporation to do so. People don't fucking know that. And then you've got then there's the Dutch Indie fucking corporation as well, did similar things. And Britain became one of the richest countries in the world because it stole its wealth from fucking India.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And it caused all the problems in India, like the partition. They took people from different castes and different religions and put them in areas. So they took Muslims from Muslim areas, planted them into Hindu areas, took Hindus, planted them into Muslim areas, and it was deliberate to cause conflict and division so they could just ransack the fucking country. And then you had the partition in 47? I think it was 47 partition.
Just after the World War II, yeah.
Okay, and then you had Bangladesh as well, and all this kind of shit. And it's just like, yeah. So
it's not victim mentality, dude. It's just a state of play. I mean, do you think United Kingdom doesn't want to keep all these countries under the Commonwealth so they can keep taking their fucking tax money to benefit this particular country? If United Kingdom didn't have all these Commonwealth countries, God knows where we would be.
And also, let's be clear here. This victim mentality, these people are not with a victim mentality, because they move on, they get on with life. All right, they're not sitting there fucking pissing and moaning all the time. Okay, the people with the victim mentality are the people that implement all these shitty policies. How many fucking right wingers cry and piss and fucking moan when the policy, when we ask for policies that kind of helps give our tax money back to us? All right, how many fucking times when they have to pay extra do they play the fucking victim? Or how many times when they're called out for their bullshit did they fucking blame, deflect, and play the victim? All right, this is not victim mentality. The world moves on. We've moved on. We're saying, should there be reparations? Yes. Will there be? No, there won't. Fine. The world fucking moves on. The problem is as well is that the ransacking of poor countries is still going on to this fucking day. It has not ended. Empires have not ended. They've simply changed how they function. You think all these countries in Africa that got independence from the British Empire got independence? They ain't get independence. They got fucking indebted to the IMF. all right, which has kept them poor and unable to function like a proper society, and kept them a third world country. The
Um,
former French colonies pay half 500 billion, I think it's billion or million, around there, okay, to France,
probably
just
billion.
just for the sake of them having their freedom. The French were like, yeah,
Well,
here's your independence, but you're just going to pay us to exist.
yeah,
Fucking
look, I mean,
ridiculous.
this is good. This is initially good on India for a start, but I mean, UK are self-destructive post Brexit, so it's not surprising there. But there's more than one fucking colony, not just India, mate. So yeah, there's a whole
Yeah,
bunch of countries. So yeah. And
yeah.
regardless of India doing fine, I'm not, and I'm living in this fucking country.
But it's not just that. It's the fact that while India's economy is doing fine, the people aren't doing fine. An economy is one thing. You can never measure the
Yeah,
wealth of the people just by how well an economy is doing. Okay, that's bullshit. Because
yeah. Actually, I'm happy you mentioned that. Yeah,
because in fact, I'll tell the only country where you can say that is fucking China, because China has a very strict policy of eradicating poverty in its country, and it's been extremely fucking successful. Everyone has a house. Um, Everyone's education and needs and food needs are taken care of. All right. Yes, it's a disgusting authoritarian country, but at least they implement some of their socialist policies, so they're not complete monsters and all this kind of shit. Vietnam was the first fucking country to work towards eradicating poverty, and it was very successful in doing so. I'm not saying the people are rich there, but they have their needs met. What do we do
yeah,
here? Here we call people on benefits scum. We villainize them. They're not victims. We make them the fucking villains. Okay, all
yeah,
these shows, all these fucking um, goddamn articles in the newspaper vilifying benefit scroungers and all this kind of shit. And the thing is, you've got to look at it. If you grow up within that system, it's very hard to get out of it. And your mentality does change. However, that's the same thing. I could easily put that thing onto the rich, because they're so used to being rich and paying so little taxes. They have the power and the means to stop the system from taxing them more. All right. I remember when I finished working, I got a tax rebate. Then after that tax rebate, I got a phone call from the Inland Revenue. No, I didn't get a phone call from the Inland Revenue. They don't phone you. That's a scam. I got a letter from the Inland Revenue saying that I owe them that money back. And I was like,
how much was it?
£1,500. Okay.
Okay,
That was £1,500. And they called me 6 months later. They sent me a letter 6 months later. I keep saying they called me because I fucking called them and I spoke to someone on the phone. But they sent me a letter 6 months later. Where did that money go? That money went on bills and fucking keeping myself alive. All right. Because I wasn't working at the time because my health had gone. And I wasn't on benefits because the
yeah,
DWP had denied me everything. And I had nothing. So I used that money to survive. All right. Now, when you get a letter saying you have to pay that money back, and it's like, oh my God, I shit my pants. What's going on? Fucking hell. I went into a panic. I called them, obviously, and all this kind of shit. And I argued that that's your mistake. That's not my mistake. Why do I have to pay for your mistake? All this shit. Anyway, they said, doesn't matter. If you don't pay it, you're in deep shit and all this kind of shit. And so we set up a payment scheme. And then what happened? They never took the money back. They never took the money from the direct debit I'd set up with them or nothing. And that's because I was lucky, because at the time that this all happened, the Tories gutted the Inland Revenue system. They cut a load of jobs. They changed the fucking computing system, which really fucked things up, benefited the rich immensely. But I was one of the few poor people that got very lucky, and I didn't have to pay that back, which I shouldn't have had to pay that back anyway, because it was my fucking money. All right. It's a tax rebate from my fucking hard work. And then when my health went, I needed that money. But I got lucky. But me, that's £1,500. Think of the fucking millionaire that got an extra 10 million, 5 million, 6 million pounds.
And they're going to
Because
just
they
sit on it
changed
and
the
not
system,
stimulate the economy.
because the rich changed the system to benefit them. And that is the number one problem.
And
right?
it's money they keep that doesn't go back into the
Well,
economy
they keep the
whatsoever.
money.
Whilst
They don't invest it in anything.
well, your £1,500 is guaranteed to go all of it back into the economy. Regarding India's, I know we mentioned this earlier, but regarding their GDP scale, I mean, and you mentioned the economy. As I said, as you said earlier, it doesn't mean shit because half of India are still in fucking poverty. You know, I mean, that's a problem that India has to fucking deal with, as well as maybe the United Kingdom too, because they're a fucking colony of ours. The US is what is that word? Litigious society.
Litigious.
The only people one has to convince are the members of the jury.
Oh, it's there.
Oh, so I'm reading it.
Yeah, it's fine. The US is a litigious society. The only people one has to convince are the members of the jury. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whereas I can't even begin to tell you what's wrong with the British system. Hello, Mr. System. How are you?
Unless you get reparations from England, then I'm not so sure.
Yes. Yeah? No, of course. Jesus Christ. Yes.
After the final agreements, and all that. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You don't even know half the fucking massacres that the UK did in Ireland. Okay, not just not just deliberately. Just absolutely. Oh well, Gary agrees as well.
Yeah.
Africa and the Caribbean. Yeah. You know,
pull a line down says, I've always said it's if someone gets paid to help poor people, it behooves them to have poor people
to make some sense. It behooves them to have poor people to help.
But you have do you have that same line of argument for rich people who are constantly getting help with our tax money to bail them out for whatnot? Surely helping poor people is beneficial for society to get them out of poverty, to give them a chance in society to improve their lives. I mean, people don't want to remain poor, you know. They want to get out of it, but if you're stuck in this rut, this vicious circle, then
and you can't get out of it because your rent is gone up, your mortgage has gone up, your food prices have gone up, your wages haven't gone up, all your fucking utility bills have gone up. How the fuck are you meant to help yourself? Upward mobility non-existent in Western society anymore. It's a fucking rare thing, all right? And when you have BlackRock buying all your fucking houses, private equity firms now fucking own all the housing in America practically. Okay, you're never going to own anything. Nothing is ever going to be yours.
Yeah,
you're never going to have freedom. Okay, the end game of capitalism is to always have you paying for every fucking thing. I guarantee you, if they could charge you for oxygen, they fucking would.
That's an issue with people who get elected in. Yeah, well, Modi's he's a con, isn't he?
Well, Modi again is another prime example that they fucking the Americans and the British help prop up and put him up because they thought, that's another right-wing puppet for us. But no, he just turned around and said, nah, fuck you, mate. My military's strong enough to withstand any shit from you. We deal with fucking China and Pakistan all the fucking time. All right, we have like all these countries on our border, mate. Our military is strong enough, so you fucking try it. And they haven't did to Modi what they did to Khan in Pakistan, which was Pakistan were like under Khan were like, no, we're still going to deal with Russia because fuck you, we didn't start this war. And then as soon as that happened, they ousted Khan.
Mr. System
to Modi.
But how much they should pay? I'll tell you how much. $1 million. All right. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm sorry, but
just give him a $5 and a token to Starbucks. You know, it's all good.
I think we're in the final hour. We should change. We've been talking about this for like an hour and a half, which has been fantastic. But I've loved every minute of it.
Oh, it's been lovely.
I think we should, it's been lovely, but I think we should change the subject.
All right, we'll move on to film and TV. Thank you to everyone. Even if I called you stupid idiots, I still appreciate everyone's comments. And
one more comment here. One more comment from TLD. Rich people make money off poor people, and poor people stay poor, so they need help. And rich people help. No, rich people don't help them.
They don't help them. How do they help them? They don't help them anyway.
I want to quickly on this. Like,
Okay.
What pisses me off is, and you mentioned this in the past as well, is rich people telling people like me to donate to charity. I get the fucking king of England and the Prince of Wales telling me to do that. I get rich celebrities telling me to do that. People with more money than fucking sense. Rishi Sunak doing fucking charity events, even though he's a fucking billionaire himself. They're telling people like me to donate to charity when they should be donating to charity themselves. Rich people don't help fucking poor people whatsoever, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, ready to talk about
yes,
some films and
as
television?
well. The King of England has been given a 45% pay rise, by the way, of our tax money. Yeah, I can't hear you, Cheeto. No, can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
So yeah, and what did he do to deserve that? That's our tax money.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
So again, please tell me how the poor are given, all the benefits and all this. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway,
that dude gets a 45% raise. I can't even get a 5% raise.
Yeah, we're sitting there going on strike just to get a 16% rise, which is right to keep up
need to do.
All right, and this motherfucker, they're just like, yeah, here's 45%. Here's 150 million a year to do whatever you want. Like, nobody bats an eyelid.
I mean, there's one
thing I agree with you, and I say that sarcastically because when you put awareness, awareness is sarcastic. I hope you're saying it like that, and I agree with you if that's the case. Yeah. And by the way, if you want to become rich and get 45% GO, what you need to do is rule a country and then breed.
Yeah. Well, he does that anyways from Ohio.
I deserve a 45% raise because I am the straight white American, baby. That's right. My 45%.
You're halfway there.
Give me halfway there. Benefits. Pow. Speaking of straight white men getting all the benefits, I just watched the Barbie movie, by the way, and I highly recommend it. It's fucking hilarious, surreal, fantastic.
I want to watch that.
I loved it. I loved every minute except for the last 10 minutes. I won't spoil it, but fantastic film. Loved it. It was as good as I hoped it would be. Now, sadly, tragically,
you gonna watch Oppenheimer?
I'll watch it, but when it, later on. I'm in no rush to watch a Nolan film these days. And plus, I know the history of Oppenheimer anyway. So, I never rush to see biopics. I'm not a big fan of them. I watched both Barbie and Oppenheimer. Yeah, I know you said both were great. That's good to hear. I have some tragic news for you both. By the way, I didn't even fucking know they were doing this, but it's still tragic news. The live-action Master of the Universe film has been cancelled by Netflix.
No!
Yeah, I'm devastated. Yeah. I didn't even know they were making
I didn't know they were doing it either.
Me neither.
And apparently they'd already spent 30 million on like just the fucking the wages and the pre-production and all this kind of shit. And they were like, no, this is going to cost us too much. We don't want to spend 200 million. And the actors like, okay, we'll work to get that budget down and all of that. And then Netflix were like, nah, fuck that. We're just not going to do it at all. And
the He-Man everything. So you would have thought that they would have gone down the live action route at some point, but they own everything to do with He-Man at the moment, don't they? So
yeah, they're just well, I think Mattel are gonna shop it around to other studios and that. And obviously I don't want Master of the Universe to follow Barbie's blueprint in the surrealism. But Master of the Universe needs to follow a fucking similar blueprint in the sense that good character development and a good fucking storyline and all this kind of shit. Yeah, you could do like a Conan meets Game of Thrones kind of thing with Master of the Universe. It's not hard.
I think they should just change the name to Woke Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Woke Man. Or he, him, and the Masters of the Universe. Him and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah, I don't really give a shit,
I'm not. I was never a He-Man fan anyway.
Series.
No, I was
like a live action series. Tell you the truth,
I'll watch it.
A film,
and I think they should do a series rather than a fucking film. I'd watch it, but again, I was never the biggest. I was a bigger She-Ra fan than I was He-Man. That's because
Oh yeah.
blonde, big tits, long legs. Yeah, I'm all for that rather than muscle bound meathead. Well, Tila. Anyway, so yes, I can see by your tears you're all devastated. So I want to move on. This one's going to kind of fall back into politics, but not too much. So this is obviously Snow White and the 7 hipsters. I don't know if you guys saw the picture.
What?
They
You not seen the picture?
they weren't little people. Apparently, they were.
No, there's only one. There's only one dwarf, and the rest are just United Colors of Benetton kind of thing, like every race thing under the sun. Now,
and so that's triggered the fandom minister ilk.
Yeah, it's triggered. It's even triggered a channel that I love. I know he's a right winger, but I still love his stuff. Metatron, who's like this Italian guy who lived and studied in the UK, but has moved to America, and he does wonderful videos on Roman history and all this kind of stuff. But
is this a for real image of them standing in like in a field?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my!
Me that, oh, put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. I want to see.
Oh, the picture is confirmed fake. No, I'm devastated.
No, there's way too much here for it to be fake.
Okay,
I thought it was, anyway. No, the reason I thought it might be fake is because the Snow White actress does not look like the lady from.
I heard she's Latin, and so people
West Side Story, the actress that plays her, and all that. But I wanted it to be real, son of a.
I want it to be real so bad.
Yeah, just for 2 reasons. Number one is there's been fucking so many different Snow White variations. Okay, that getting this one done is we're all watching you on the telly. Yay, I'm famous.
Oh, lovely.
But I mean, there's been so many different versions of Snow White. Like, who cares? Like, who cares if they go down this route? As long as they have fun with it and don't fucking take it too serious. Because my biggest gripe with
it's Mike. From Mike and Adam. Me and Zam's friends.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mike. So my biggest issue is with all the grim fairy tales is not all the fucking race swapping and all this kind of shit. Okay, my biggest issue is that they have been fucking stolen by the Americans, sanitized beyond repair, and that pisses me off more than sticking a black mermaid in there, who, by the way, is gorgeous and has an amazing voice. All right, but the original Grimm fairy tales, I want to see those made verbatim on the fucking not on the big screen as a show. And I know we had something like that, but that was the WB, and that don't fucking count because it's garbage and all that. But they're so morbid, the Grimm fairy tales. They're so morbid, and they all have like bad endings and all this kind of shit. That the Disneyfication of the Grimm fairy tales, the Disneyfication. You lost me at the Disneyfication of Grimm fairy tales. That's where you lost me. Race is irrelevant. Your adaptations are fucking shit. And
Disneyfication of anything. Disneyfication of anything.
Hercules, a Disneyfied Hercules. Now I love the cartoon Hercules. Don't get me wrong. God. It's hilarious. But
I remember that kid calling him Jercules, and I wanted to smack my head against the table.
Yeah, it's just so fucking. So
the Americanized it. Oh god, yeah. It just drove me nuts.
How do you take Hercules, the guy who was tricked into murdering his wife and child, and turn it into a fucking Disney cartoon? Like,
that's just America, baby. America.
And it's just like, I can't take you people seriously. Like, if you want to turn Hercules black, fucking turn in Hercules black. This is the Disney remake.
Well, they did. They did. His name was Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Played him.
He did.
Oh yes, he did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And none of us gave a shit because the film was shit.
No one gave a shit, but that's before everyone was going on about woke all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be real. I mean, Hercules being black is at least closer than him being American. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a whole ocean away from Greece where, like, Like he's closer to Africa than he is North America. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, stepping stone was Kevin Sorbo. Listen, mate, Kevin Sorbo set the fucking bar for Hercules. All right, never bested, never bet. That show was like
I used
epic.
to love that show, man. Come back home, watch that shit. Yeah, I mean, and them playing like Greek version of American football and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean,
it was brilliant. Yeah. It's one of those shows like that and Tina were like so bad they're good. And but I loved Anthony Quinn as Zeus. You remember he played Zeus?
Anthony Quinn played Zeus.
Anthony Quinn played Zeus. Yeah, the original Zorba the Greek played Zeus. I loved that, and he was just a dirty Lothario on that, so they got him right. But yeah, I look at those things with like great fondness. Even the Disney one, I know they're both kind of insulting to my people. I'm not that bothered, you know what I mean? Because I've still got the original stories in my head, in my heart, and all this kind of shit. So whatever you put on screen, it's all good. There've been some attempts, but most of them have fucking failed.
Facebook abuser says Disney doesn't care about the live movies making money. They're only forcibly keeping their patients open another 50. Yeah, initially they were like that. Okay, I'm gonna have to cover him in a second. Initially they were like that, but I think they've realized now, quality does matter. I mean, they were like that with Star Wars and some of their Marvel stuff, but so many things have been getting such negative press right now. Even Disney knows, you know what, we have to up the quality at some point, which is why they're bringing out less shit. Even though the only shit they have to bring out is Star Wars and Marvel, because Disney Plus offers nothing else. But
the thing is, they're not going to change though. They're not, because their mentality is set to make stuff the way they make it. They can't break their own mold with all their properties. I mean, good Lord, take Marvel and Star Wars out of it, all right? Because those are two very kind of divisive and toxic fan bases. And just look at Disney's own cartoons and Pixar's cartoons, and look how fucking one-dimensional, samey they all are. They're all the same fucking shit, just in a different coat of paint. All right, and Disney just doesn't matter if it's Iger, doesn't matter if it's Popple or whatever. When you have the Disney blueprint that you refuse to break away from, you're doomed to just eventually just crash and burn. I mean, Iger's sitting there talking about selling off like fucking ABC and FX and all these kind of fucking Freeverse and all these channels now, because they're all heading to like ad revenues plummeted, viewerships are down, and all this kind of shit. So it's going to be a very interesting future for the arts. Eventually, it's going to be smaller studios, smaller films, smaller budgets, because there's going to be no fucking money left. Well, we're all broke as well. We can't afford all these streaming services. We can't afford fucking cinema anymore. I mean, Jesus Christ!
That's why piracy is coming back, because there's too many fucking
piracy's like big, because streaming did a massive job in crushing piracy, but now they're jacking up. Like Netflix is getting rid of its cheap plans in the US and UK now, and then eventually you're going to be paying 15 quid a month, and you're still going to have adverts. Well, what's the fucking point of having you?
Just a couple of comments here. Bossman says it's about IP rights. They have to make a film. They lost Winnie the Pooh because of that.
Well, no, I mean public domain stuff has 100-year because Mickey Mouse is about to go into the public domain next year. The iteration of Mickey, like the Steamboat era Mickey, he's going to go into public domain next year. There's nothing they can fucking do about that. And I have a rule though. I have one rule, and the rule is somebody who creates something, once they die, should go into the public domain. It should never, I don't believe in families profiting off of the success of somebody. They get a lump sum and then it goes into the public domain for everyone to enjoy. That's my personal view, because what happens is instead some fucking shady corporation takes it, owns it. Like, look at the mess with Superman, for example, and all the kind of shit that happened there. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. But
Okay, another comment here. Thoughts on this is news to me, by the way. Thoughts on Disney Studios possibly being acquired by Apple.
I heard
I
that
have no
rumor.
idea.
I have not heard anything official, but I've heard that rumor.
yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
Also, Disney being more inclusive is not the problem with Disney. That's heavily playing into far right wingers like Ron DeSantis fighting. Yeah, we know that. Disney still makes enormous amount of money and life going. We don't believe that that's an issue, but it's just a way for fandom and streamers and reactionary streamers and politicians just to do something and to make news and to get noticed by being reactive to that. They have an issue with a black person being on screen or a woman being the main character. These things are so irrelevant. I totally agree.
Zam, how did you miss this comment? Let's fucking
Steamboat
go.
Willie porn. Steamboat Willie. I need to remind myself. Steamboat Willie.
That's Mickey. That's like
Mickey Mouse.
the original Mickey.
The original Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he wasn't called
Original,
Mickey Mouse.
yeah.
He was called Steamboat Willie in that cartoon. He's the one that's always whistling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love those older style animations. Like just the innovation, just the stuff they did, man. It's
Just him using his penis to make cheese. Oh, so great.
I love it, man. I miss those fucking days, baby. Also, you already said that. But for Disney Studio, if Apple buy them, they're not going to. But if they do, expect the quality to go up exponentially because not enough people talk about Apple TV and the fucking immensely good shit that they have on their streaming platform. But
Actually,
I'd never give Apple a single penny of my money, so fuck them.
Likewise, Ted Lasso is fantastic. By the way,
that's
I know
Apple
you didn't
TV.
like it, but I forgot to go back to this because they stupidly put a break in. I'm glad you reminded me. Hijack, the series about an airplane that's being hijacked.
Oh yeah, with Idris Elba.
I'm halfway through that, but then they put a break in the season. It came back on the 19th, which is 3 days ago, but I totally forgot about that. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to binge that shit. Look forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Good show.
What's do you two want to comment on this? Oh, you have.
I would like the ship to go now.
Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. Hey, Ginger, when are we gonna talk about it? When we get my nipples are hard right here for this right here. Come on, when are we gonna talk about it? You're talking about Disney and live action.
Live action Gargoyles film announced yet again.
Really?
Yes. And Kenneth Branagh is directing it, which is fantastic. That means you're going to get a very Shakespearean take on it. I'm looking forward to it. I do like Kenneth Branagh as a director. I hope it gets made. And I hope they stick to the fucking source material and they don't shit around with it and Disneyfy it. All right.
Listen, you the first 4 or 5 episodes of the cartoon are basically an animated movie if you watch them like uninterrupted.
Yeah, uninterrupted. They're an animated film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us that live action.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us that live action. No kids, no bullshit. Just that.
Right? Elisa turns into like a 12-year-old girl who's got an adventurous spirit.
Yeah, all this fucking shit. You know, you got the Latina cop, you got the fucking crazy rich guy, bad guy, all this kind of shit.
No, if this was made 10 years ago, I'd so say bring Jonathan Frakes in as Xanatos. I wouldn't even care. The voice. Yeah, no, to play actual Xanatos.
Oh, to actually play him live action.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, I would say you could bring in Jonathan Frakes, the guy who voiced Xanatos.
I still want him to do the voice though.
In the movie?
Yeah, you know, like Darth Vader kind of thing. So you have so you either have the thing CGI, which is going to be completely CGI, and so Darth Maul is better because Darth Maul you can actually see his lips.
Xanatos is a person, not a. I thought the movie was going to be live action, so you'd have a live action.
Xanatos. Oh fucking hell! I was thinking
another Star Trek comment here.
Sorry, yes. My apologies.
Talking, I think they're talking Strange New Worlds TNG cameos.
I hope,
in my opinion, Jonathan Frakes he has to do it.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean, at some
Jonathan
point,
Frakes has
Jonathan
been in
Frakes,
so many. He's been in the most Star Trek series.
Fucking Xanatos.
yeah. So
That was the main
yeah, so
fucking bad. Gee.
oh, we have a Babylon 5 question here.
Oh,
Babylon 5
mm.
finally released on Blu-ray, instant #1 seller. Is how you get a proper remake made.
Is that the animated one?
Did it? Wait, it just it already released? I thought it wasn't releasing for a while.
Finally released.
Yeah,
Oh
and
no.
Donkey, I
No!
agree.
The original series. He's saying the original series.
Oh yeah. I did see that. I did see the Blu-ray release coming out. Yeah,
You
we
have to
can't get a
minimize
freaking. Yeah, you can't get a freaking Deep Space Nine Blu-ray.
I have Babylon 5 on Blu-ray.
I have it on DVD. Are you sure you have it on Blu-ray?
the whole season.
No, I'm lying. My apologies. No, it's DVD.
Yeah, here, right here. I gotta. That's the new Blu-ray.
Well, that looks the next one.
I'm fucking buying it. I'm buying it.
It's $134, man.
I'll wait for a price drop. Then I'll buy
it. I was about to say I'm waiting for a price drop. $134. Like, look, I love Babylon 5, but like for 5 seasons, $134.
I'll wait till it drops to $50, which it
eventually... right? Like, oh no, I saw that price tag and I'm like, it's not coming out till December anyway.
Oh no! Look at this. Here we go. Here's a comment.
Fucking
here we go.
Ages.
Hey, Daniel Vance. You know what?
Triggered.
Nope. Fucking blocked.
No gargoyles. Oh, sorry. No gargoyles. TNG cameo. I'm sorry, but I'm not. My knowledge of gargoyles is not next to nothing.
Well, you could have Brent Spiner in there. You could have Jonathan Frakes, Marita Sirtis, Michael Dorn. They all did voices on gargoyles. Like Worf, Troy, Riker, Data. They all did voices. I don't think Patrick Stewart. I think Patrick Stewart was and Crusher were the only 2 cast members. I think LeVar Burton might have had one too. Maybe I'd have to go back and look. But I know those 4. Huh?
Why was there like this connection between Star Trek and gargoyles? Like
because technically, I mean, Jonathan Frakes. Well, Frakes was attached to it. Maria Sirtis was attached to it from day 1 too.
Yeah,
she was Demona. So I mean, time for Zam to take his meds.
Yeah, I mean, Frakes and Sirtis did they were part of the project themselves, and other people kind of fucking so they brought their friends in to do, and it's a nice little selling point. Hey,
that rise,
come see rise. Come see the TNG fucking people.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a cameo of them like standing around at a party or something, just like in the background.
Yeah.
I want to see Jonathan Frakes in the Star Wars property. That would be good.
Well, they said that they're slowing down on Star Wars stuff, right? I mean, I heard them say that, or I read somewhere.
Marvel and Star Wars are slowing down on it. Thank fuck for that.
Well, it's probably Iger's doing, because Iger was saying, he kept saying that there's too much Marvel out there.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily disagree with.
That.
How can you say that? How much we've hardly had any fucking shit come out.
No,
but last year we had 4.
Yeah, last year. Yeah. Last year, but they've already slowed down.
That's because it's quantity over quality. If the quality was there, they would not be slowing down. But because the quality is not there, and we only be getting quantity,
and the viewership is dropping, and the viewership has dropped as well. So they're going to slow down. They got to go.
Secret Invasion is not that popular.
Yeah, which is a fucking tragedy, by the way, because I love that show.
It's getting better with each episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like for me, it's just middle of the road. Honestly, I don't feel like Nick Fury is a good leading man. I'm sorry, the character is just not a good leading character.
Yeah,
it's not, I love it.
It's not it's not up there with the best of them, but it's not the worst. It's like I love the show, but it's in the middle. I'm with you. Like it's in the middle. I just think it's too. For what it is, it should have been bigger. But for what we've got, I kind of love that there's no fucking jokes all the time. I love the action.
I like that too. Yeah,
I love the kind of thriller element, the spy thriller elements to it. The kind of international kind kind of thriller stuff. I love all that kind of shit. I'm always.
I think Don Cheadle's performance has been very good in it because he's a Skrull. Spoilers, by the way. He's a Skrull, and I think he's because the Skrull embodying what he looks like is a female. There are female characteristics portrayed in his acting as Scrody. So I'm liking as
Scrody.
I just want the Star Wars show to lead to a big live action Thrawn movie, which is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they are.
I don't know if they're leading to a big film, but I think they're leading to a big crossover event against Thrawn. So
as long as they do him justice, that's what I want. Thrawn justice.
Well, at the moment, he looks like fucking Elon Musk in blue paint.
And he looks like blue Elon Musk.
I
knew that would trigger you guys.
The minute I saw his face, I was like, "That's fucking Elon Musk in blue paint."
Elon Musk. Yeah, that's why I thought.
Literally 5 minutes later on Reddit, there was a meme about that. I pissed myself laughing. I was like, "We are united as one."
Two things here. First of all, I really Lars Mikkelsen. He's got probably all the weight of the Thrawn sort of thing is on his shoulders now because he's playing a massive character and he needs to really pull it off and make it credible. And on top of that, regarding Secret Invasion, my problem with Secret Invasion, you kind of hinted to this earlier, Ginger, is that it's just not big enough. Like this should have a massive impact on the MCU generally, but it doesn't, and Rhodey's in this as well, but he's only one Avenger. There should be other Avengers, talking about that, maybe somebody mimicking Scott Lang and whoever else is on Earth, maybe Captain America or whatever. So there's nobody mimicking these other guys, So
that's what.
Well, but here's the other thing. They say, they don't want Nick Fury doesn't want to bring in any Avengers because he doesn't want them mimicking them. But I'm like, what about your non-power? And obviously this is a little hairy with Hawkeye. But I'm like, what about your non-powered, Avengers? So you don't have to worry about them mimicking other than their look. Hawkeye, like Hawkeye, Captain America, like Bucky. Well, but yeah, I mean Bucky's.
They have the same strength. They have the same strength.
Yeah. So I mean,
so it's not really that.
So for me,
Black Panther, you can't really mimic their fucking powers.
Yeah, because it's technology based.
It's technology based, really. The flower
they could mimic the technology.
But yeah,
I don't care what people say. Clint Barton, Hawkeye, you can't have that amazing accuracy without it being a superpower. I mean, that's just incredible. Like he even said when he retired and he was playing golf, he was getting 18 holes out of 18. I mean, the guy. His accuracy is a level that can't be comprehended.
I think it's just a meme at this point.
I'm all for that.
But that's a superpower, man. When you can always hit the bullseye every fucking time.
I mean, the power of meme. That is a great superpower.
Yeah, the power.
I'm looking forward to it. Hope it's good.
It doesn't look shit. It doesn't look shit.
In the lead role.
But
anything.
My worry is that the leads are all boring.
I don't know. I mean, I'll give it its chance.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, of course I'm gonna watch it. It's fucking, it's Star Wars and lightsabers. So yeah, I'm in.
Speaking of the better Star franchise, they're making a new season of Star Trek: The Animated Series. So is this like? I mean, so the original Star Trek: The Animated Series was in the '60s. So you can't say they're making a new season of that. They're making a new season of. No, they should. Okay, wait. They're making a new season of Star Trek: The Animated Series, which was back in the 60s. The recent San Diego Comic-Con, Riker, Saru, and Quark are all confirmed. Next, he says 5 all-new animated short films. So I wouldn't say it's another season of the animated series. It's going to be called something else. Because technically Star Trek: The Animated Series was a thing back in the 60s, and you know that, Daniel Vance.
Vance doesn't know anything about fucking Star Trek. Clearly.
Yeah, I know. He knows nothing at all. But still, so it's not. It's going to be. They used to have these things called short treks that were quite entertaining. They were just short, and they're not short films. That
did you see the the homage to the animated series with TNG characters?
I saw the one with Voyager characters.
The one with TNG characters. I wouldn't mind something along those lines. That would be pretty cool. Voyager characters or DS9 characters. Just something of one of the previous series, turning that into animated. That would be pretty cool.
I'm excited to get more Saru.
Yeah,
no,
exactly. So
talking about, but yeah, carry on.
That's Discovery, Star Trek.
Right. I'm just watching more San Diego Comic-Con toy reveals here, so don't mind me.
Oh, okay. Well, bring your screen up. Close all your porn tabs and bring your screen up. We want to see.
Are we allowed to watch that?
Oh God, I can't.
We're get copyrighted now.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just pictures.
I was about to say if it's just pictures.
Crossover.
Okay, give me
Fraser. Lord Donkey says.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Please.
Oh my!
Voyager is a lot of. I don't know if you like Voyager or not, Lord Donkey, but I love it. I love it. It's one of the greatest Star Trek shows of all time.
Share screen.
I'm a big Voyager fan. Big.
Loading show on stream. All right, I'm going to click on this Star Wars one because I've just seen this one now.
Oh,
fuck!
Oh,
Star Wars post panel. What sort of ship is that?
Ooh, is that the Ghost?
Yeah. Oh, let's have a look here. Okay, so we're getting the standard figures again. I'm not going to fucking bring these up because we've had. Oh, hang on. Here's this one.
Say Prodigy. Yeah, you're damn
right. Oh, all right. Okay, that's Sabine Wren.
Does she have a lightsaber?
In the new series, yeah, she might be force sensitive.
Oh, was she force sensitive in Rebels? I don't
remember.
remember. Like, I didn't see much of Rebels.
I can't remember.
And she hasn't aged a fucking day after 20 years.
Yeah,
25, almost 30 years, by the way, which is ridiculous.
The size of this fucking thing. What? Is this a HasLab? If this is a HasLab, I am going to be pissed off. HasLab is one of those crowd-funded fucking toys. But that is... Oh, is he going to open it? Oh, nice. Hang on, let's zoom in. So that's obviously for the 3 3/4 inch, obviously.
Lord Donkey says save Prodigy.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I mean...
Whoa!
I mean...
Oh wow! Yeah,
it's supposed to bring a new generation of Star Trek fans, so I agree.
That's got to be a HasLab. There's no way that's just a standard release. Jesus, look at
this is taking me back to. God, you're really fucking loving this shit, aren't you?
Oh, I love this. Is me, man. I love you have no idea how much love.
Dude, this is like GI Joe levels of.
Oh
yeah. You remember Boulder Hill and shit like that. You open all that up.
Yeah, from Mars and all that. I've still got my Boulder Hills up in the loft. I've got all my Mars toys. In that,
I think Sabine is the only trained as a Jedi.
Yeah, it's HasLab. I can see the thing down there.
I don't think she's force sensitive. I just don't like the fact that some of these Clone War characters you should be about 30 years older by now. Still look the same age as they were.
You don't know if all races age at the same rate.
Well, hang on a second. Hang on a second.
There's no humans in Star Wars.
Rebels took place.
5 years before Battle of Yavin.
5 years before the Battle of Yavin. Ahsoka takes place. It's 15 years gone by, if that.
All right, fine.
So
I was thinking. I was thinking from Clone Wars era.
She's aged perfectly fine because she was very young. Sabine Wren was very young in Rebels. Like she was like 19, 20, if that, in Rebels, because her and Ezra had that kind of thing. Yeah, so she's fine.
I mean, Ahsoka has definitely aged because she's grown into Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. What? By the way,
I'm very happy to see Rosario Dawson finally be the leading actress of something because she's been around forever.
Yeah. And, don't get me wrong. I love Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she's awesome. So I'm very happy to see her play the leading role of the show. And she's not like going down the sex appeal route either, even though she's fucking gorgeous. Man, I always had the hots for her ever since Sin City. Oh my god.
She's a 10. She's a 10.
Yeah, I love her. So she's and she and after watching Clerks, I realized that she's okay with ass to mouth. You know, what I mean, that's my type of girl.
Dude, you never go ass to mouth.
Who says that? Who says that's wrong? Of course you do. Yeah, you do, mate.
Hey,
You do.
I'm just going with what they said in Clerks too, mate.
Yeah, well, he's wrong.
Yeah. God. Sorry, I'm just in awe of this fucking hazard.
Listen, if we all of a sudden we're gonna see like a white milky substance on Ginger's camera.
Oh, mate, trust me, I've already milked my knickers. Look at it. Fucking hell. You guys can see these little pictures, yeah? They're all right?
Yeah, I mean, not detailed, but we can see them.
It's cool. I'm glad you're fucking. I'm glad you're fucking appreciating it. I mean, that looks pretty cool there.
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful.
Look at Zeb though. Look at Zeb down there.
Yeah, Zeb looks fantastic.
Like a childhood friend of mine, he took me to one of these sort of like Warhammer, White Wolf type sort of places, and I could. He was really into all of that shit. Not me too much, but I could appreciate some of the crafting and modeling and stuff like that. There's all these things there.
I always said, I always said that if my brother met Henry Cavill, they'd get on like a house on fire because they'll just talk Warhammer till the fucking cows come home.
What's the blue one down there at the towards the bottom?
This one here?
Yeah.
Holiday special. Yeah.
It's a holiday special. Is that it's Boba Fett because he's got the little.
Yeah, yes. It's Mandalorian Scout Holiday Edition. You can see here where it says that at the right hand side.
Absolutely.
I remember that movie Alexandra and the fucking Alexander the Great was Greek, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Santa Jawa.
And I remember the fighting the Indians and they're fucking cutting off elephant tusks and shit like that.
Yeah,
that was great. In that movie, that ship is sexy.
Yeah, that ship.
By the way, I just so you know, I got a Jawa shirt on. Just so you know.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, we got fucking what's the name? Hera. Yeah. Oh, it says it right there.
He's played by Mary Elizabeth
Weinstein,
who I only realized recently was Ewan McGregor's wife.
What? When did that happen?
Played Hera the girl who played Hera in Ahsoka, the actress.
Yeah, I know who she
Mary
is.
Elizabeth Winstead. She was in The Thing as well, and she's been in a few movies. She was in
that's The Expanse.
That Tarantino film, the one which happens to have Rosario Dawson in it.
Hey, Gazam, that's for you, mate. Lady Deathstrike or whatever. Fucking is. Woohoo!
Lady Deathstrike, isn't she like a
Lady
mutant?
Deathstrike is the mutant. Yeah, this is Lady Death or whatever her fucking name is.
Lady like suffocate me in your tits.
Yeah. Crush me. These I've already seen them.
Yeah, that's it. She's called Lady Titstrike for a reason.
This, by the way, fantastic Marvel line here with the Marvel Knights, like with Deadpool in his latest outfit, which is awesome. And anyway, that's just okay.
This strike scene, by the way, as we can go into this very briefly. You see that video by Ron Perlman? Where you basically
motherfucker.
Now, I saw that on Secular Talk, which is this left wing YouTube channel I like to watch now and again. I think Carl is fantastic, but initially, Perlman was doing a response to a bigwig executive who was basically saying that they're going to let these guys, they're going to ride this out, and all these people striking, they're going to let them go poor and broke until they won't be able to pay their bills and probably get kicked out their homes, and then they'll negotiate. And so Ron Perlman was basically responding to that, and then people had an issue with Ron Perlman's response. But in my opinion, the issue is with the executive by saying that we're going to ride this out and make all these people go poor and lose their fucking homes, because that for me is the bigger fucking deal. You know what I mean? Than what Ron Perlman said. So what's everyone's thoughts on Star Trek Legends show? Is it what show is? I never knew about this. Is there a chance now post Picard season 3? Star Trek Legends. Tell me what? What's
Star Trek?
about this?
What?
Star Trek Legends.
There's a new trailer for Harley Quinn season 4, by the way. I just thought I'd get that out before.
I've not seen the trailer for. Wait, it's Legends or Legacy? No, he's talking about Star Trek Legacy, which is the 7 of 9 show in the Enterprise G, which is.
Oh yeah,
Legacy.
Yo-Yo's characters coming back and all that.
Yeah, well, which is a shame because you know what?
They passed the baton.
Oh.
Well, I felt like the Titan A being rechristened as the Enterprise G was just a dumb idea.
Maybe, I agree. Just make a new fucking Enterprise. You know what I mean? You don't need to fucking christen it. Keep the Titan the way it is.
We just got a whole season getting to know the
different ships. I like the fact that there's more than fucking Enterprise out there. You know what I mean?
I agree.
There's no need to apologize, Mike. And I want that show to happen.
I should apologize, and you should feel really bad as well.
I really like the idea of 7 and 9 being captain.
Quit crying about the Titan. You know what? Listen here, donkey. Listen here, donkey. I know exactly who you are, donkey. I ain't gonna come to your yard sales anymore.
Ron Perlman's response was straight out Sons of Anarchy. You're damn right, but as I said earlier, his response was justified because he was basically responding to somebody who wanted people to lose their homes and be kicked out on the street.
Yeah, and be homeless.
To death. So, and being homeless, and that for me is the thing that people should be focusing on, but they're not.
Did any of you cunts watch Biker Mice from Mars?
Oh man, I haven't seen it in years, dude.
Okay, Ryan Reynolds is co-producing Biker Mars animated series. So
I don't know if we're scraping the barrel with that shit. You know, it feels like it.
Mate, we scraped the barrel fucking 20 years ago. Let's be honest.
Listen, they have not done a live-action Bucky O'Hare. They have not scratched the bottom of the barrel yet. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Bucky O'Hare, but I feel like that's such a niche show that if they go there,
11.
Mate, I'm still waiting for my Mask live-action movie. Okay, the fact that they couldn't do Mask, I would. If somebody says to me, "Hey, here's a list of projects. What do you want to do?" Mask and X-Men will be top of the fucking list, but Mask above X-Men, because I'll just make it fucking 80s, fucking rip-roaring fun. You know what I mean? Forget bringing it into the future. I'll be like, no, it's technology of the 80s, slightly tweaked to be, you know, the technology that you had in the Mask show.
You know what I want? I want Brave Star. You know, Brave Star.
But you know what? Prime example of Brave Star. There you have Native American character, woke wet dream, and they still haven't fucking made that into live action.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. And it will be a fantastic series. Either a series or a film. Strength of the bear. Ah!
Speed of a puma.
Speed of a puma. Ears of a gimp.
Ears of a wolf and eyes of a hawk. But then he had these sort of like visors so they could sell shit. So he hardly used eyes of a hawk.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to sell the fucking visor and stuff like that.
TLD is right here. Street Sharks live action scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yes.
I like, you know, what I've been doing in my cab recently is I've been listening to like 80s songs of cartoon themes and stuff like that. But my favorite one is from Galaxy Rangers. I love that song. It's awesome. Galaxy Rangers is a great tune, man.
Galaxy Rangers. How did it fucking go? Oh, I can't remember, but was that written? I bet that was written by fucking Shuki Levy. And
I forgot who it is, but I listened to it on my Google Music. It's
Street
awesome.
Sharks live bears.
Gotta get Vin Diesel for that one. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, Battletoads live action. That'd be pretty bad too.
Glory, no time to
I still remember that commercial as a kid and thinking how old it was. Street Sharks. You know what I liked as well? Was it Battle Cats? Not Battle Cats.
Galston, and Welzer.
The SWAT Cats. SWAT cats, like the cats in the aeroplane.
Cats, Samurai Pizza Cats as well. Anyone remember that?
Oh, look, if they do a 2023 Woke Captain Planet, Don Cheadle needs to play Captain Planet. I'm just saying.
Captain Planet is woke,
motherfucker.
Am I missing something here? You know, Captain Planet back in the day was woke. You know, he can't get any more woke.
I know he had like a Native American guy and a Russian guy or a Russian girl and an African guy and an Asian chick. I mean, they were super woke back then.
It was as woke as it got. It was like, yeah.
And then like, you know, like the Russian girl fell in love with like the Asian chick, and that was so woke.
Ended the Cold War.
Yeah,
ended the Cold War.
And like I just like remember like the bad guys like Sirius Sludge and stuff like that, but this was stuff that was coming out of America. So I used to think America was quite progressive when they showed cartoons like this. And then
Ted Turner was a massive environmentalist. That was his show.
Yeah,
Ted Turner made it. He made it. He funded it all, and he didn't even give a shit if the toy sold or not. He was still going to push the, the message of raising awareness about fucking polluting and all this kind of shit. And I always remember it for teaching me to turn the faucet off while I brush my teeth.
Little things like that. And like I love the way like if the show evolved, because then like the bad guys created their own rings. And then they joined their powers, and then their powers combined, and then they created Captain Pollution.
Yeah.
I remember all of that sort of shit.
Captain Pollution, man. He's a douchebag.
Gonna turn pollution up to 1,000.
Gonna help those capitalist cunt buckets.
Fucking thing writes itself.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we find out that Captain Pollution's actually a Skrull. Oh no! And a female Skrull at best. Oh no! Could you imagine? Like I'm surprised we haven't heard enough about this. Why does Rhodey have to be a female Skrull? Like,
You didn't read the comics. Fuck off.
Yeah, right.
That's my response to everyone. You didn't read the comics.
I think it's because Rhodey, he's black, so like in a way, like they're almost up between a rock and a hard place. But if Rhodey was white, they'll be losing their shit. But he's black, so they don't know where to go.
Yeah, oh my god, he's trans.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Fuck.
Trans Rhodey. Wouldn't all shapeshifters be trans? Like, because they could be boy or girl any day.
Yeah.
Like
they
so.
Be gender fluid is.
Yeah, gender fluid. Yeah, they'd be gender fluid.
His performance has got a feminine touch to it when he's in Scrody form. So I'm like,
I really don't. I don't see that. I mean, maybe I got to go back and watch it again. But
there are. Once he reveals himself to be female, after that, you see a couple of little subtle.
It's very subtle. It's not in your face. It's subtle.
Yeah.
Like the tone of his voice and how all of that.
I'm used to Fox News telling me that it's all supposed to be in my face.
Gender fluid changelings. Well, the funny thing is when Picard season 3 came out, which was before Secret Invasion, my immediate thought was Picard Secret Invasion, because that's what it was, with the changelings taking over fucking Starfleet and shit like that.
I know, it's like always, Star Trek did it first.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, just by a couple months, but still, Star Trek did it first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If we ignore the comic book, Star Trek.
Hey! Don't be putting that white trash nerd shit up on here.
Oh, sorry, mate.
My husband may be a changeling. Send help. Or keep a bucket nearby, but eventually you have to go into liquid form. So,
who did it first with the Zygon? No, they didn't. When did the Zygons come out? Hold on.
The Zygons, remind me who they are again?
They're from Doctor Who. I don't remember. They're
fuck Doctor Who.
Yes, hello, Cat. Yes. Cat.
Hold on. I wanna see here. 1975. Okay, so maybe they did it first. I don't know.
Who? What?
The Zygons from Doctor Who.
Oh, I mean, Doctor Who did everything first. The Americans looked at Doctor Who and just.
Star Trek did it better.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Americans are into Doctor Who, man. I don't know many Brits are into Doctor Who, but Americans, they fucking love that shit.
Well, that's because they feel like they're expanding their international palette.
Absolutely. It's lovely.
That's like me saying, "Hey, I've got 2 British friends."
Like I
We're gonna spit roast you later, mate.
Like I went to the Downton Abbey, and I don't know about you, James, but I don't know a single fucking Brit that watches that shit.
Oh no, I knew a lot of people that love Downton Abbey, but not as much as the Americans.
British people.
Yeah.
Okay, I have never come across one Brit who watches Downton Abbey, but I took 4 Americans about a year ago to Downton Abbey, and they were so fucking excited. They started playing the Downton Abbey music on their phones as we were approaching it and shit like that.
Mate, listen, if you want to pull an American bird, just walk into anywhere and say these 3 things: Downton Abbey, Doctor Who, The Great British Bake Off. The Great British Bake Off will get you
really.
Oh my! It's so huge in America.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about that.
The American one, they tried the American version, but they just can't do it because you have to be nice in the show and give off a calm vibes. Whereas in America, it's always got to be like fucking Gordon Ramsay and Kitchen Nightmares kind of shit, and it's just like I hate that. But then I don't really care about the Great British Bake Off. I don't think I've ever watched.
I'll be honest with you. I like watching Ramsey and all these American, even though I don't like them using all the music all the time and shit like that to give it some sort of emotion. But it is good to see Gordon Ramsay shit on Americans whilst he's out there and just insulting them in various ways. It gives me a lot of pleasure.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
it's just bully boy fucking bollocks. I can't stand it. I tell a lie. I have watched an episode of a Great British Bake Off, and that was the one with Daisy Ridley in it.
It's more like drill sergeant sort of style, but sometimes the people he's dealing with, they're such stubborn cunts that he needs to break them down.
Yeah, but again, they probably over dramatize a lot of that shit as well.
Of course they do. It's America. It's filmed in America.
Yeah,
real. Doctor Who was on at a time when we had only 4 channels, and it was the best of them for a kid. We only had 4 channels.
No, that's right.
It's weird in a way.
Listen, I remember when my remote was connected to a wire.
Disney fucking owns Doctor Who now, by the way.
Part owns? What the fuck does that mean?
Basically, they've invested money in to have
crossover. You see fucking Doctor Who in the next fucking Avengers movie.
Doctor Who's gonna get fucking Disney-fied now.
I was about to say, so every new Doctor, there's going to be a new little, instead of a grown woman, it's always going to be a kid with the Doctor.
Yeah, something.
And the new Doctor's going to be Pedro Pascal. So
yeah,
the Doctor's going to be a kid. But the Doctor could be anything. Oh man, like when the black guy, when the black gay guy became Doctor Who, the amount of people lost their shit, because I was like reading the comment section going, but they're trying to cover up for their racism. They're going, I don't care if this person's black or not. I just, he should only get the role if he deserves it. I'm thinking to myself, were you there at the fucking at the casting? You weren't. How do you know he doesn't fucking deserve it? You just talk out your fucking ass.
So Disney Plus has basically got distribution rights on the streaming platform for new Doctor Who. So from November 2023, it will be the platform for the rest of the world to watch Doctor Who. But this wasn't a takeover by the House of Mouse. Oh no, Doctor Who to UK viewers will still be BBC.
Doctor Who will still have.
Oh, okay.
BBC also have creative control then.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
What are you talking about? I can do anything I want, motherfucker.
But again, never ever underestimate the sphere of influence that Disney could have on it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what is it going to have an influence on?
Damn right.
Black Doctor, check. Female Doctor, check. Storylines that are kid friendly, check. So it doesn't really need it. I'm going to watch the new series when it comes in because Russell T Davies is back, and I fucking love Russell T Davies, one of my favorite writers. He's the one that helped relaunch the Doctor Who franchise. And so he was there at the beginning, with like Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant and all that. And then when Gatiss took over, it just went to shit. And nothing against Gatiss. I do like Gatiss as a comedy writer. I just didn't like his Doctor Who stuff. But with Russell T Davies back, I'm definitely going to give it a watch again.
Doctor Who, no, it's not going to be Doctor Who Star Wars. It's not going to be that. It's going to be Doctor Who Avengers. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Star Wars got nothing to do with Earth, and so they're going to remain and keep it that way. Doctor Who is from Earth, I think, or has been to Earth.
No, he deals with other planets as well.
No, but the point is that Star Wars, Earth doesn't really exist, so. Yeah.
Well, it exists. It's just in a different galaxy, far away.
Far away. Yeah.
Yeah. Bring back Davis. Yeah, he's back, Michael. He's back. He's writing. He's back to do the new series. So the next one that comes out in November or whenever it comes out, that's written by Russell T Davis, because he's the GOAT. I love Russell. I will watch. Like he'll make like. The thing with Russell T Davis, what you got to understand with him is, so he made the show that made him famous was Queer as Folk, and that was like film about gay people and all this kind of shit. It was a huge success in the UK. I think they did an American version as well, but Americans fucking snowflakes, so they melted down. Gay sex and all this kind of stuff. And then he did with Christopher Eccleston as the Messiah. He did a show there, and that was like controversial, but if you actually watch it, it's very benign. But he's always kind of pushed the boundaries, Russell T Davis. Pushed the boundaries of acceptance and all this kind of shit. And so I just love the fucking guy's work. He's just chef's kiss. I'm excited. Catherine Tate is back. Oh fuck. Oh god, is she back? God damn it.
She bothered. Yeah.
Bothered. Face bothered. Daleks bothered. Fuck can't stand Catherine Tate. I say that she had a couple of funny sketches, like the one where I don't know if you used to watch EastEnders at all, Zam.
Yeah, here and there.
There used to be the Geordie bird on there, Jane. No, she wasn't on there. But do you remember Jane, the bird from Newcastle that was on there? I think she was like in a relationship with Phil or Grant or whoever. And she's in Newcastle, and she's in a sketch, in a Catherine Tate sketch, who's looking to get a new nanny for their kids. And she obviously knocks on the door, starts talking to Geordie accent, and the kids and the mother are scared because they don't understand what she's saying. And they're like, "Mummy, I'm scared. What is she doing?"
Oh yeah. I see that sketch.
Yeah. I fucking love that sketch. That and the dry shit-ache mushrooms. What a fucking liberty.
Well, if you want to sound like a Geordie, you got to sound really hard and got to sound like you shoot yourself. and then that's how you sound like a Geordie. You know what I mean?
I had a roommate from Durham, okay, and so it was actually from West Rayton, so it was a village 8 miles out of Durham, and they had the thickest Geordie accent. Obviously, living with him for a year, you get to understand his accent. And then a couple of years later, when we did a stag do up in Newcastle, we stayed in there. We stayed in a pub which had rooms upstairs. It was fucking really nice, like pub, like a dive, but a fun dive.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the locals there, obviously, we're bowling in from London, and every fucking race under the sun is coming in because we're all from like different ethnic backgrounds, like different parts of Africa and the Caribbean and fucking India and Italy and Ireland and all this kind of shit. And they're just obviously having a conversation with us and all of that. And I'm acting as interpreter for my London mates because they didn't understand a fucking word they were saying. So every time a Geordie would speak, they'd turn around and look at me. I'd be like, "Oh, he's just saying, how far have you traveled from? Where you guys going?" It was so fucking funny because the Geordies were like, "Hillman, what you doing?" I was like, "I'm just translating for you." I was like, "Why?" I said, "They don't understand. They don't understand your accent." I do because I had a mate from West Rayton. They're like, "Oh, West Rayton is a fucking shithole, mate. I've never fucking seen a shit like this." And I was like, "Fucking love them. Love Geordies with a passion." And they released a new sonic screwdriver for David Tennant, Return of the 14th. Great design. That's combo of 10 plus 11s.
That's called merchandise sales, mate. Merchandise sales right there. Yeah, I mean,
sonic
screwdriver every fucking year, mate, if they have to.
They should release a sonic. I want to see a different toy company take the license, though. because I can't fucking stand the toys that are being made by, I forget the name of the company now.
Hasbro?
No, it's a British company, and they just make like 5-inch figures with like piss poor articulation, and I hate that. I want to see somebody, either them improve or somebody else take the license from them, because I want Doctor Who figures, but not from this company. They're shit. But I mean, that being said, I do have the might be able to see it up there. That's the TARDIS playset right there from David Tennant's Doctor Who.
Okay.
Yeah, which I do.
Very nice.
What a nerd! You got toys.
Yeah, man, total nerd.
Total nerd.
So yeah, cool. All right, guys, I think that's us. 3 hours. Unless you lot, yeah, mate. Damn Brits, am I right? Yeah, exactly, Michael. But yeah, I've got nothing to talk about unless you lot have anything you want to talk about.
Oh no, I'm done. I need to charge my car and go to bed, and yeah, and
cool. All right.
Chris had a late one tonight, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, lovely. There you go. All right, well, thank you everyone in the comments. It's been very busy in the comments, which has been very nice to see. And thank you to everyone, even if I did insult you, I don't care. When it comes to politics, I pull no punches and I make no apologies, but I always appreciate every comment, even if I disagree with some of you. That being said, please keep an eye out. We do have more stuff as always. And on that, I shall wave you all a good motherfucking bye. Bye.